And we are looking at match 1 right here, up at the top mark. And rounding the green, obviously they had a little bit of a shift before they got going. For those that are at home, you can see the graphic on there with the drivers. And it definitely looks like Monin is with a comfortable lead, but right on their heels, you can see the Grand Kite going up, Jeffrey Peterson. And if we're looking at the overall scores going into this race right now, Peterson is sitting 6-6, right? So the Grand Kite we're looking at is 6-6. With an 8 and a 4 tally for the Monin. So great news for today. We have a little guest commentator joining me, which is awesome. Allie Bleacher is here. You want to say hi?
Hi, it's good to be here. Always fun to talk match racing and check it out in the waters.
I know, pretty
Always
awesome,
fun,
right?
Yeah.
It's a little weird not to be actually, on the water and doing it, but pretty awesome to be able to tell everybody at home what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's been beautiful conditions the last few days, so these guys are pretty lucky.
Definitely, for sure. It looks like, not super windy, a little bit light, right? But definitely sailable. Kites aren't looking droopy for sure.
Yeah, definitely sailable. It'll be a fun day on the water.
So these guys are coming into, we're trying to finish the second round robin, and obviously these points are super close. If we're looking, who are going to be the top 4. It's anybody's game, really, all the way down to pretty far in the list.
Far down, yeah.
So everybody's got 4 races today to kind of, solidify ourselves. What would be your kind of thought process going into the morning? Like, how are we going to approach this day?
I think it's definitely set yourself up for another long day on the water, but making sure every race counts. I mean, the points are so close, and not to get frustrated if you're behind, right? I mean, it's anybody's game at this point.
Totally, exactly. And it is kind of, as we've seen the last couple days, it's very much, it's never over. Even the comfortable ones, you're like, whoa, a little left shift, and the person's right back into it. So these guys look like, they're trying to get themselves back into kind of the center of the course. Maybe Peterson's hoping to have a little bit to play with, it looks like. It's like, I'm behind, but, getting on their breeze or trying to close up the distance and make competitor sail some extra distance, right?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's leading a little bow forward on him, which is cool to see going up to, I guess it would be the left side if you're looking upwind, which sometimes in this Long Beach morning breeze, sometimes you get a little lucky with a puff out there. So I think he's hoping for the best there. Looks like a simul drive.
Also, we've got the local guy, right? So it's pretty cool. There's a bunch of young guys sailing, which is awesome and doing really well, right? To see them do well at the Ficker and then move right on to this and keep it going.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I'm excited to see what these kids are going to do going forward, and then they'll have the kids, I guess.
Right, I know.
And we're
all getting old. It does look, we're closing a little bit distance here. It's great.
Yeah, looks like putting in some work.
And now it's like, decision making, which mark are we going to go around, right? How difficult are we going to make it on our crew, and how much yelling is going to be involved, who knows?
Yeah, hopefully it's somewhat calm, cool, and collected as they make their rounding, but I guess we'll find out shortly.
Very true. What's your last match racing, this last little bit? I know it's been on, everything's been on a little bit of a pause, right, with all the regattas being, on hold, and then all of a sudden everything's happening on top of each other. Have you gotten back out match racing?
A little bit. I mean, we just did the women's champs here, in San Diego. So that was kind of our shaking off the dust a little bit and getting things going. But yeah, I mean, we're looking for 2022 to be more of a racing season.
Right, once it all gets kind of set, you can plan for it ahead of time.
And
totally. That's why I find it impressive. These guys, they can be so organized. They're, snap their fingers and okay, cool. Long Beach Yacht Club gets it going. We'll be there.
It's awesome.
Ooh, here's excitement. We got a little crisscross of races going on. It's always makes it very challenging for both matches. and the umpire trying to get out of the way as well, right? It's sort of a dance of a million people.
Right. Looks like maybe they closed some distance there.
They definitely closed some
Yeah.
distance for sure.
Young guns coming in.
Love it. It is awesome. And looks like they're going to follow right behind. It's one of those where you take the deep breath, right? Right before you round.
Oh, this will be good. Let's see what
And
they
it
do.
looks not very windy. Look at this. So they're all sitting in. So again, it makes it a pretty challenging deal, right? You're like,
Yeah.
okay, I got to keep the boat moving. And
Yeah. I mean, these
those boats are
it's-
not light, huh?
No, it is all about momentum. You don't want to do anything that's going to disturb it.
Oh,
It's
man.
like driving an 18-wheeler.
The close-in shot like that's pretty good, right? You can see, I bet all the guys on the pier are getting a nice shot of it. You can see how they're all trying to move gingerly through the boat, right?
Right, yeah. Oh, looks like a pretty good tack coming out from Jeffrey's boat. We'll see how the split goes, though.
Yeah,
like maybe,
it is a pretty big split. It's always like,
Yeah.
it was pretty common yesterday, actually, to kind of, okay, I'm committing to the right, I'm committing to the left.
Looks like is it Eric and his team are taking a little hitch out to the right side. Looks like they might have a little bit more breeze.
Whew, it is not windy, people. It is, this is the last 2 days of racing. I don't know if you've been watching it all while you're at home, Allie, but they have had like champagne conditions. It's been so nice. So to see that this morning is a little bit, woo, you know, well,
Yeah. Change
it's,
things up
it's
a
an
little bit.
adjustment, right? Yeah, new day.
New day.
Looks like a lot of distance was gained right there by Monin, right?
Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe left side a little lighter.
maybe, yeah. I wonder if they'll go back for more of the right. Let's see.
Here we go, coming back together. And again, this is the first match. So also out on the water is Gilmore and Canfield, right? They're already on the race course. And Chris Poole and Dustin Durant, another good match. Big shout out to those folks on the pier. If you, obviously we're able to see, piece by piece, and we're going to follow some matches. It's great to be front row seats right there on the pier and be able to see all of them together.
Yeah, it's such a cool view from the pier. Like looking down, you're like, oh, I feel like I'm in the boat, but I'm up on the mast.
Awesome. I know I mentioned earlier about Simone on the water. We have, it's great. We have her available to talk with some of the sailors. So I think we're going to be able to jump in and talk with her for a moment.
Hi everybody, we're out here, a gorgeous day in Southern California. It's about 5 to 7 knots in the puffs.
I don't know if
Some
you can
pretty
hear me,
light
but
wind
we're not on-
racing, very clean, all about boat speed right now. A pretty intense racing though. There's tons of calls being had out here, tons of flags flying. Right now we're covering Monin versus Peterson. As of right now, there's no penalties. It's all about boat speed. Monin has a slight advantage with his speed, but we'll see on this next downwind, so stay tuned.
Molly, hi.
Excellent. We thanks, Simone. So we're looking here at Peterson heading upwind. Again, it's one of those lots of racing left, but also each one counts, right? It's that weird middle of the end of that second round robin. You're kind of, okay, we're figuring out where we sit.
Yeah, you definitely can't let round robin 1 affect round robin 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Throw away the sheet and start over, right?
Yep.
And really try not to look at those results until we get to the end. You can now see, I love these drone shots, right? You're able to see
yeah.
like the whole race course. It's pretty awesome. Got a lot of folks going upwind. A lot of separation between these two guys.
Yeah, this will be interesting to watch as they come back together in some breeze.
Yeah, exactly. It's been typical in the last 2 days, and getting out, at least earlier on, kind of getting out to the left and getting a little bit of extra breeze, you know. We also saw a bunch of, the umpires have been involved a lot in the last 2 days, and we saw some exciting penalty, you know, pitting people way out, you know, almost running into the island out there.
Oh, awesome.
Making a big, yeah, it's pretty awesome for sure.
Use the whole race course.
Exactly. Use the whole entire body of water. It has been pretty funny with the umpires, though. They've gotten a good rib. Well, Flavio, our chief umpire, has gotten a good ribbing at all the
Perfect.
all the press conferences. But I'm sure you have, you know, everybody's got them, right? The random stories or the umpires that we remember certain incidences from.
Exactly. It's always fun in games, but it looks like not too much lost on that upwind, so that's good.
Yeah. And again, with it so light, right? You have one little puff, it makes such a huge difference. So this downwind could actually be pretty close. This drone footage is so nice, right?
It is really cool. I love it.
This is nice for the pier guys if they're able to see it. The drone footage, it's like you're right there, and we can give you the play-by-play. But both kites are full. We've still got Monin in the lead. It's about a boat length and a half between the two boats, so very much within striking distance.
Yeah, we'll see what breeze pays on the downwind. I think Jeffrey Peterson, their team made some good moves on the first downwind, so we'll see how they do on this next one. See if Monin lets them have a free shot or no. Yeah,
Monin was actually he was quite active with pinning people off to the right-hand side.
Oh, cool.
It was pretty exciting.
Excellent.
He did it a couple times, and Max Mesnil as well, and it was definitely a common move that people found each other in. It is very close. You know, look at that. They're like, you can tell, let's try and keep this kite full. You know, it's the game of how low can we soak.
How low can we go and keep the truck moving?
Right. Momentum being the key factor, right? Such a stress on, you know, the communication between the driver and the trimmer. It's almost like a non-stop back and forth, right?
Right, and don't panic.
Right, and then somebody else telling you, like, hey, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
We're strong here.
Exactly. You're doing okay. You're making gains. You're good.
Yep. So kind of staying the same here. We're about a boat length and a half. Got some upwind boats to avoid, but it looks like you're going to easily get around them. Pretty cool. So Monin is obviously ranked #1 in the world. He's well used to having pressure on him, for sure. Going for the jibe here. Look at it. It is honestly like a dance, right?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Nice tight jibe there.
Yep. Okay. Let's see it, Peterson. What do we got? Super awesome. Okay, bringing it back into the center of the course. That upwind match, you can see Johnny on top of Yair up there. Okay, we've got definitely room to swing for those that don't have the aerial view that we have. Peterson's got enough room to get out behind if he needed to, but I would assume he's probably bringing it to the center of the course before he starts playing some more.
Probably, yeah. Let's see. maybe even slightly past center.
Yeah. So the good news is being able to swing out behind, do a jibe is going to put pressure, continual pressure on Monin, right? Because Monin's got to figure out, okay, do I go with them? Like right here.
Like, here's your
What
moment.
happens? What are we going to do?
Oh, interesting. Okay. Let him go for a second.
Right, cross through, maybe breeze behind on the other jibe. So coming into play, ley lines to the two ends of the line.
Looks like we're starting to see, is that the pin in the top corner?
That's one of the
Or
gates.
the gates.
So we're almost going to see
Almost
the pin,
there.
pretty close.
Wait for it.
But we're definitely in the bottom,
Getting
bottom
closer.
third. Yeah, Monin. Like in the left side of the course. Again, super light maneuvers are probably pretty painful. Well choreographed, but not fast. Okay, here we go. It's coming back. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, here we go. A little cross. You can see Monin's got a fair amount of speed.
Yeah, it looks like he's in a nice puff over there too. Take that down to the finish.
And easily pointing within the line, right?
Yep.
This is
Looks pretty good.
pretty nice here. So Monin, assuming all goes to plan in the next couple boat lengths, that's definitely going to make him feel a little bit more comfortable with this close scores between everybody. Sitting there with the aerial view. For those that are on the pier, FYI, we've got a little bit of a gain in distance to Monin, so he's definitely looking strong here. But changing points would put him at 9 wins, which I know he's probably taking a deep breath for that. And there's his brother up there on the bow. I love the family affair. His wife is jibing the main there. Love it. And there you can see the pin. Yellow and black.
There it is.
Yep. Bam. There we go, guys. Excellent. Moving up to 9 wins on the board there. And Peterson, so we're looking at 6 wins. So kind of for those at home doing the couch follow along, it's basically at this point you just start noticing these wins and where you're going to move up. End of the round robin, which will finish probably tomorrow. We're looking at the top 4 advancing. So we've got really about 6 boats that are kind of floating around. Not sure where they're going to land by the end of the day. Pretty awesome. This is where they take their deep breath and go, okay.
Move on to the next one.
And Peterson is probably going, you know what? I just raced against the #1 ranked team and
and put pressure on.
Right?
I mean, that's a.
I am really impressed with all these young guys. They are they're in every race, right? There's no walk away races. Yeah.
That's great. I mean, it's a huge learning curve, and it's just going to keep going. And the fact that you're putting pressure on, forcing them into different situations, I think that's a whole lot of fun, and definitely can learn from it.
Yeah, for sure. We've got the Stars and Stripes development team. Those guys are helping, build the next level. We've got the Match in Black. The French guys are all helping each other. It's really nice to see. It's really healthy for the sport, for sure.
Absolutely.
We are looking right here. This, for those that are at home, this downwind race is between Emil and Yanni. So if you're looking at Farmers and Market, that is Yanni Bernston. And Emil Kier is in the CZR kite. So Emil looks like he's jibing in. Johnny's going to be matching here. And jibs are going up, so we are looking at them rounding. Again, definitely under pressure, huh?
Yeah, that's close.
I know. I love it. And so Kier, the kite behind right now, has just been sailing so well. Both of these boats for the last 2 days, their boat handling has just been
spectacular.
Yeah, it really has.
That's always good to see.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing a.
I don't know if they'll split.
Yeah,
Maybe?
Yeah.
Nice. Look at this. They're splitting the gates and betting on one side or the other. So we actually have Simone on the water. She is ready to talk with Monin.
He just won his match against Jeffrey Peterson. Nice to take a little breath after that race, huh? Some tight racing.
Yes, yeah. I was looking for speed and looking for speed in these light winds, but he put some pressure on us, especially at the last upwind mark. Luckily, we're going fast and have a good team trimming the sails very well. So finally, speed made the difference.
That's amazing. Yeah, it seemed like your boat speed was a bit faster than Jeffrey. So, how did you? What was your thinking on that race? All about boat speed or covering?
No, we went for some loose cover to not make too many maneuvers, but it's not so easy because even if the wind looks steady, what you have in the sails is not always exactly what you see, and there are some differences. But so that's why we always felt under pressure.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time and luck on the next one.
Thank you.
Excellent. So we are looking at a blue penalty right here. Wow. What are we looking at here? We have Seven Angels jibing. Seven Angels is Max Mesnil. Sorry about that. Racing Wood with the Long Beach Yacht Club Burgee. So the blue penalty, which is Wood, got a penalty for port starboard. Not quite sure where on the race course it happened, but that's where he got that's why he got the penalty. Man, we've got some action going on, huh? Lots of close racing. So looking at the Stella kite here, that's Dustin Durant. Dustin is racing Chris Poole.
I think we also have a penalty in that match as well. Looks like Blue has a penalty, Chris Poole, for another port starboard.
Those umpires are busy, huh? Okay, we've got two blue penalties, right? One with Poole. Dustin.
Right?
Yep. Okay, for those that are at home watching, obviously we're zooming in here on the Stella and Long Beach Sailing Foundation kites. So Dustin is sailing with the Stella kite right there, and Chris Poole is in the Long Beach Sailing Foundation. Looks like he's got a little bit of space, not under pressure, but not right on his stern. The other race that was going downwind, we had seen Mesnil and Wood.
Here they come.
And yes, here they come into the big picture.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay, so Mesnil is in the Seven Angels. Excellent. So boat 6 is racing boat 8 here.
Oh, this looks like a nice tight one over on the...
Super close.
That one.
Focusing on the Long Beach Yacht Club kite here.
Yeah, looks like... Is that David Wood's team up there?
Yep.
Virgie.
I love it, right? So again, the young guys, right?
Yeah.
So Dave Wood is Stars and Stripes development team coming in, looking awesome, in control here.
Looks like pole just came down, jib's going up. We're getting ready
Getting
for
ready for a
fun.
rounding. I love it. Okay, Max.
Which means there's a big split in the other fleet, or the other match going on right now.
Yep. Okay, Mesnil is, thinking we got to come in as fast as we can, get our speed, close our distance, right?
Yeah, looks like they might. Looks like David Wood's taking the other gate. Oh, maybe they'll follow.
This is great. Okay. Mesnil is right on his stern. Tons of pressure. Get that kite down. It's a game of inches. Okay, this is pretty
Oh,
sweet. This is
you're
close. We've still got a blue penalty, right? So
Yeah.
Wood's got a penalty up. Mesnil is now just a tack behind him, right? So we're basically right on his stern. Doing a little bit of split.
Yeah, there's been a couple of those today. Some worked out better than others, but
Oh, there we go.
It's always a good view.
Okay, Wood staying in touch.
See where that pressure builds from.
Yeah, this is definitely another important one for points as well, right? So Max is sitting with 5 and 7 going into this race, and Dave, 3 and 9. But again, this group of about 6 boats is trying to get every win they need, right?
Right, yeah. Every point counts.
A little bit of comfort with that blue flag that's flying behind Max, right? He's like, okay, I've got that in my back pocket. But really, we saw yesterday people burn off penalties, give them back. Like
Perfect.
the game was never over. So
Great, yeah, and we'll see. Maybe they'll pull something out at the top mark here if needed.
it is really, it's so often comes down to a fleet race, right? It's like boat speed and keeping yourself going in the right direction. Looks like
Yeah.
the breeze has picked up a little bit.
I was gonna say, at least it's Long Beach. It slowly builds, and you kind of, you definitely can't forget your fleet race tactics of where you want to be on the race course and what do you want to protect. So it's always good. Always good to see. Looks like we might be a little bit of pressure out on that left side coming down. Boats are heeled over a little more out there.
Yeah.
Maybe a different angle too.
It's always,
It's weird seeing it on the drone.
it is weird to see it on the drone, but
Oh, yeah,
also
that's good.
it's like that, as you get farther and farther, you split and you get farther apart, it's always that, whoever's calling the ley lines,
Yep.
you get that, okay, I've done this 100 times,
Yes.
and okay, are we in a
Confidence.
puff or not? Where's that ley line going to be? How long am I going to have to live on somebody's hip? It's a difficult call for Mesnil and team out there on the far left.
Absolutely. You want to be a little conservative, but at the same time, you don't want to give them too much.
Right, can't give up anything.
It's funny, I think we did that move against you guys once.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, I feel like I've been in the same situation with you probably 100 times. And the cool part, I was sailing Ficker last week, and it is, these boats are so heavy. You're like, oh, that's where the boat is, no big deal. And when you come rumbling in, the boat tacks in
rumbling.
front of you, and there they are. You're right below them right away.
Instantly.
And, no 17, straight up into the wind. It's a whole, game is not over.
No.
Nobody's comfortable.
No.
But look at this, right?
This is interesting, yeah.
That is a
Little
comfort.
distance, yeah.
A comfort for Wood. So right now, for those on the pier that can't see, Wood just tacked up on ley line as well and definitely made gains. We rounded almost bow to stern at the bottom, and it looks like Mesnil's tacking out, but made gains. So maybe he's thinking enough to burn the penalty, or
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to do something up at this top mark, try and clear it and get to that finish line.
yes, it's almost like you have a little bit more control of stuff going upwind.
A little bit,
right?
yeah.
That would be my thought process. I'd be saying, well, hey, if we've got it, do it.
Yeah, and in these boats, that momentum, you can really get it done quickly up there. So-
Right. As long as Mesnil isn't there to hook you.
Yes.
Yeah.
we'll see.
We will see. I love it. So we had a penalty burns like outside the zone by Chris Poole yesterday, and then tacking in the zone, and all happened, right before, and it might set up for that again in this.
Yeah, looks like maybe a little bit more gain to Wood's
It
team.
really did. He is maybe pressure, maybe shift, but definitely it's gained again.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Looks good. See what happens.
Excellent. We've got another match just coming into the finish here. You can see for those at home, Bernston is just jibing right here. Ooh, this is a close one. Kier is right at the boat. This is very close. Stress on great boat handling and awesome jibes. And it looks like we've got a yellow flag. Go, Yanni. Woo, that was a close finish, people. That's an important one. It was an important one for Kier there. So, again, he's in the mix. He's got a loss on the table with that one, but Yanni, I'm sure, is, that was close.
Yeah.
It's good. It was a good fight. Excellent. And now we're back with Wood and Mesno. So we've got Wood with our kite up.
I don't think there was a turn at all. I think we're gap closed a little bit. So.
Yep, still seeing the blue flag flying, guys. So didn't burn it off and maybe lost a little bit from that initial gain, but still we're looking at a 2 boat length lead. 2+, so definitely a gain from the bottom mark. So again, he's got the decision of, do I have enough to spin? If not, we're getting ready for some crazy action, right? The hard part about the crazy action is it's not very windy, right? So it's a balance.
It's an interesting balance, so we'll see what they decide to do. It's not quite enough distance, I don't think, to maybe complete that turn somewhere down the run, but I don't know, maybe we'll see a little engagement.
Yeah.
Make it spicy.
Yeah, I love it. I hope we do.
Lighter spicy, of course.
Yes, yes.
A little slower.
That's the hard part, right? You can't get too excited because you shake everything out of your sails. It is the hard, like how many times you've been sitting in that situation where you're like, is it enough to spin or is it not? Back and forth, back and forth.
And then at some point you just try it and you wish you did it 2 seconds earlier and it would have been perfect.
Right, right. Lots of talking, I'm sure, going between driver and trimmer here.
Absolutely.
Every little soak, every little bit they can gain.
Looks like we got a jibe coming.
Simo?
Yeah.
Yep. Excellent. Let's. I know we're kind of looking through the other boats, but basically we've got lateral distance between the 2 boats of about. There we go. We can see on the water too. Lateral distance about 2 boat lengths or so, and that Long Beach Yacht Club kite is still looking like nice clear air. I think Mesnel's looking to hopefully get up on his breeze a little bit, help
close that gap slightly,
close
but
the
stay
gap.
free and clear. And not in harm's way necessarily.
We actually saw a fair amount of people get into the windward, surprisingly.
Wow.
But a lot of them, I think maybe because the boat's so heavy and momentum is everybody's friend, that they actually made it out over and in front, which isn't the norm, right? You get there and you're like, oh, we're in trouble, but.
That's good to see.
Yeah. Okay, at some point, Wood's got to be making that decision of, okay, we're not extending here. We need to reel him in, right?
I wonder if they're thinking maybe we do a spin and win at the bottom. I think they've got the space.
That's the discussion that they're having right now too.
We'll just have it for you in public.
Exactly. We'll do it for you with everybody at home. But I mean, I'd probably be saying no.
I'd probably be saying, yeah.
I'd be
tight.
saying
It's too tight for comfort.
we need to wrap him in and
Do something.
do something with him.
Yeah.
We can't spin it and burn it off. But hey,
These guys know these boats really
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
I haven't sailed them in a while, so I know we did a clinic, and there's some time frame, which I forget now, of how far ahead you have to be in order to know you can nail that. And I'm hoping they know that answer.
right, exactly. I think when sailing Elliots, we did 50 million of those, right, to
Yeah.
get the exact seconds down,
Oh,
how long
yeah.
it would take, and boat lengths.
We've been doing some training in Martins, and those boats, when you spin, they actually go backwards.
Oh, man.
So you kind of forget what negative numbers look like for a second, and you're like, "Wow, I'm done." So, oh, this looks interesting. Looks like maybe
It does. I mean,
just
it just
dying
keeps,
slowly.
it's getting lighter and lighter, so there is a good distance between the two boats.
yeah.
Again, as it gets lighter, it takes you longer to spin a circle. I don't know.
I don't know.
And again, you don't have to do a full circle, right? You just got to
Right,
get down to
right. You just
90
gotta
out of
get
that
down there,
out of
yeah.
that tack, 91.
Yeah.
Looks like they're going for it, right?
Yeah,
like
I think
at
they're
this
gonna-
point,
they're
they would
gonna
have
wait it
already
out.
engaged. So right now, they're all in.
I think we're gonna wait it out. Let's see.
This is cool.
See how good their boat handling is. I have faith.
Me too, for sure. I'm sure their Canfield's team is watching intently, right? Okay, what have we taught you?
Right.
Nice. You can see this crew work. They've got it all
There we go.
down. Love it. Evan holding out the kite, getting that mast, or sorry, sail up.
There we go. Got RJ on
Calm,
the bow. Look at
cool.
that.
Oh, guys,
Oh,
this
boy.
is awesome. Look at that, though. Look at the distance they have.
Here we go.
Really nice, guys.
And here it
Okay,
is.
so the goal with the penalties, you have to get down to 91 before it's done, and obviously be above the finish line before you finish the penalty, so that you're still a racing boat. Don't have to go
Wait
back
for
upwind. Bam!
Beautifully executed. I really hope.
And
that
there
flag
goes
comes
that
down.
blue flag. Wow.
Nice work, guys. That's
David
really cool to
Wood
see.
and team. That was awesome. My goodness. Great sailing downwind. The
Yeah.
extension of it's not super windy, but just enough. Look at the smile on Dave's face. Whew,
Sigh of relief.
Yeah, taking a deep breath, man. You did it. That is awesome. Whew. My goodness. Excellent. So we are now looking, for those at home, pretty exciting. This is a close match. We are just exiting the dial-up of match 3. So Emile Kier is the blue boat here in boat 3. Yellow boat is Eric Monin. Going over the top of the committee boat. This is a big race. Obviously, Emile is just coming off of a loss against Yanni. And Monin is looking at 9 wins currently. So 9 wins for Eric, and Emile's team has 7 wins coming into this. So we're getting pretty close to figuring out who's going to move to those top 4 spots. Cool news, we have a couple more people joining me. So we have Dave Hood sitting next to me. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Molly. It's great to be here. Join you and Allie.
Awesome. Yep. We've basically, you can see the conditions out here. It's not super windy, a little up and down, but more on the downside. These guys are doing the little dance right leading into the start.
Yeah, so I'll jump in here and we'll jump in on this race between the 2 red flags. This is Switzerland and Denmark, and right, Denmark is really working hard to get into the semifinals. So this is a really important race for them. And the conditions are especially challenging right now. A little bit of light air, and these are big, heavy boats. So you really have to be thinking ahead. And generally on board, from a helmsman's point of view, we're talking about what we want to do as we're going into the track. And then when we get down to the last 2 minutes before the start, we're reassessing that. But clearly you can see how they're kind of battling to lead back. So it looks like the Danes have they're leading back. And it looks like Eric and the Swiss team is in a little bit of a push. And then they're looking up the course to see where the next pressure is. And right now there's still a lot of southwest on the course right now. So they're looking as to whether or not they want to start more left or more right.
Yes, for sure. It's It's definitely light, and I would say usually the lighter it gets, the stronger you are, kind of to leeward of somebody. The left, kind of what you're talking about, Dave. What are you thinking, Allie? It looks like we're getting a split start here.
Yeah, it looks like a nice split start. Looks like maybe you want that left side to come in. We saw a little bit of it in the previous flight, but then we saw a nice little right shift in the breeze kind of between the two flights. So
Yep.
it should be an interesting split to see how they come back together.
Big game of patience, right? This is it's not going to be super speedy, but it's the standard match racing, right? Back to the classic. Okay, how far apart can we go? What are we thinking as we go? Is it all going to be a shift that we're looking for? Do we stay close to our buddy?
Yeah, so right now in the local conditions in here, there's a little bit of what's kind of a Catalina eddy. You can see off in the distance, Palos Verdes has got a little bit of clarity to it, but you can't see Catalina Island. So right now there are those little like 15-degree shifts, as much as 15-degree shifts between west and trying to move west. So yeah, I would have been thinking about leading back on that start and trying to start tight leeward and on the left, but we'll see right here on the cross. We had a good split, and it looks like the Swiss team did pretty good on the right.
Yeah, definitely a gain from the right for sure. This is like sort of the decision of like, okay, what do? Do we cross over? Do we
Yeah, looks
keep
like
starboard?
Looks like they're going back for some more.
Got some kites to deal with as well, right?
Yeah, they look like they're coming in on a tighter angle, so it should be interesting to see what pressure they're bringing down with them.
That downwind match right here. This is Taylor leading right here with the Club 100 kite, and the Stella kite behind with with Dustin Durant. So again, splitting the.
Yeah, splitting the race course one more time. This is a little bigger split this time, so I think we're looking just to get some wheels under us and get that boat moving.
Right.
Move the Mack truck up the race course.
Yeah, so it looks like Eric and the Swiss team picked up a little bit after that split start, and they were able to own the right, and they want to stay over there. So this is all of these maneuvers at this point in kind of light breeze take real consideration. You want to minimize those, and you actually when I'm helming on this situation, you want to stay as close as you can. So you see the Danes, I think, are going to start to check in and go back here and see how they're faring, not get in too much of a different breeze from your competitor.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the setup of their sails, right? This is so different from what we've seen the last couple of days with all these scallops and such. We were commenting, Allie and I, earlier about how, Emil and team here, Emil Kier, they have had awesome boat speed and boat handling the last week and a half, basically, with Ficker as well.
Yeah, I mean, look at how they're coming in right now. I mean, it's a couple of gains to them. This should be an interesting cross.
Right, and the other cool part, right, we just saw that finish, that really close finish with
Yeah.
Emil and Bernson.
And just
Look at this. This
pulling
is
it away inches
he's
by
definitely
inches.
getting closer. He's got a
Yeah.
piece enough that he's want to keep the right here. Moan and tax to leeward.
Interesting play.
I know. It is. So interesting. Yeah, right?
Yeah, they're,
Dave's doing
yeah,
a little bar karate
yeah.
here, throwing his hands up. And yes, hey, are we going to luff him here? What do we, what's the
Yeah,
move?
they're close enough. Slightly bow out to leeward, so that's a bonus for them.
Nice. And you can also see there's obviously a penalty burn going on at the top mark up there. People are getting
Yeah.
pinned up at the top.
I want to see the replay on that one.
I know.
That looks good. So one kite in the air up there, too.
Yeah. That matchup there is Peterson and Poole. Okay, staying close to leeward, looking like he's focusing on his speed. Didn't go for the luff. Sometimes that's a little scary move, right? If you're not strong going into it.
Yes, yeah, you really ideally want to be bow out, and you want to be up pretty tight to be able to take that left. But we'll watch as they approach the line here. But yeah, the Danes did a great job. Got a little bit of pressure on that shift, and they've been racing, like you said, really good over the last week and a half. But they're coming off of a very strong summer. They've actually been over here in Southern California all summer. I think they competed in all of the youth match racing events, the Rose Cup, the Gov Cup, and the Youth Worlds. And they've been strong, tangling with Peterson and with Wood. So they're sailing the boats really well. And this should be really interesting here as we get to the line, get to the ley line to the windward mark. And they did a good job of actually being able to hang right in there. So we'll see the action as they start to go to the windward mark here.
I know. It's a patience game, I think, right, of getting themselves out to that ley line.
Yeah, I think it's how long can you hang in there and not slow anything down, or looks like they actually, I like this view. They've made a couple of gains. Looks like they have a little more advantage to windward now, which is good. They were a little bow back when they first tacked over to leeward, so that was good to see. Looks like they got some wheels.
And they
under
are,
there.
for those on the pier that don't have this aerial view, it's looking like a little bit of a slow death for Monin right here. Never what you want to see or feel or
Yeah.
Okay, so Kier is releasing and tacking off. I'm assuming he's at ley line, and now Monin's got the hard decision of where exactly to tack and for how long he has to live on that starboard ley line.
Yeah, it looks like it's definitely a little lighter where they are right now. They're moving a little bit slower across the boat, kind of letting the boat speed build first before running and doing the squash. So
Right.
should be an interesting rounding.
For sure. And Dave, I'm sure you remember from just a few days ago, we all found ourselves over here next to that island, right? And you're thinking, oh, I'm good. I've got starboard and it's going to work. And what happens over there?
Oh, it can get really light. Behind that island, when the southwest is trying to go west, you can get a pretty big shadow of a lack of breeze. So yeah, we saw what happened there. The Danes were able to kind of get a little bit over the top, like Ali was saying, and they got strong enough so that they could actually tack onto the boat ley line. And then Eric's just trying to get a little bit clean air, trying to come up and not fall too far behind. But now this is going to be interesting as they get up to the windward mark here. They're going to have just enough time to tack and go pretty much into a set. So that's going to be a little bit of a slow action. And meanwhile, Eric's going to try and close that gap a little bit and see if he can get closer on the downwind leg.
I know. This is, it's always hard, right? When you're in that spot for Monin, the rich get richer. It starts to stretch out a little bit, especially with it being lighter.
Looks like I think we're going over to that green mark over there, yeah? Is that what that is?
So the other issue that maybe he's going to run into, and Monin's holding in his back pocket, is he is in the way.
Yep.
Going around the mark, you're going to have to delay in the set. But Kier again has shown us for the last week or so that the boat handling and speed has not been an issue. So
Yeah, it looks like they might have a nice clean set right around here. They're going right away.
yeah,
Not quite in the way as much
Again,
as Mona was hoping for.
that's for sure. And like rich get richer, right? So here's Monin, having to sit in the wind shadow of it too, and then go into attack. And this is where
Yeah,
all the
and
people
then-
on boat 5 say, nope, it's no big deal. We got
Yep,
this.
we're gonna be okay. This is where we make our gains. Looks like nice, kites coming up. Nice clean set.
Hey, we saw a lot of races just in this last flight look like this and closed
Yeah.
up, and we were playing again. So it's definitely not even close to being over for Monin. We got a lot of race
Definitely
course
not.
left.
Yeah, this will be a good downwind. It's getting a little lighter up at the top of the course, so plenty of opportunity left.
Yeah, so obviously that was a slow rounding for the Swiss team coming up on a tight boat ley line. Essentially had to do a tack set, and they did that really nicely, but they had a little bit of time to build speed. And now they're going to see if they can get close enough to make this downwind run some close action. So typically it's going to close with a little bit of pressure coming from behind, and hopefully they can close the gap. And if they can their interest is going to be trying to get over the top. So right now they're both kind of going out and then looking for where they want to jibe and head back toward the finish line.
Yep, for sure.
And it looks pretty strong on the Danes boat right now. That's several boat lengths lead. This is a great view. We have the area view. Here we go. We got a simul jibe.
Nice.
So now the Swiss team is trying to see if they can get over top of the Danish team. And
it
they look like
actually-
they did. Yeah,
right?
that's
And
pretty strong.
This is exactly where that light air just kind of, we saw a lot yesterday where people, you think, oh, where are they going? What do they got going there? But it looks like they've got an opportunity.
No, in this, you're absolutely right. In this breeze, it can be particularly strong from the boat from behind. They were a few boat lengths back, so it's still going to be very close, but that came out pretty good initially.
For sure, and remember that tail end of the finish of Kier's last race, right? Where
yeah.
That was a close downwind, and Yanni ended up obviously getting him by, inches, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure Kier is sitting there going, okay, we're not
We're not
repeating what
doing
just
this."
happened.
Right. They had to shake it off and step into this new realm, but it looks still moving fast through the water, given the conditions.
So we're probably about halfway down the race course. For those at home and obviously on the pier, you can see that Club 100 kite that's just going off screen, and that is Taylor Canfield in then match 1. So these guys are still closing up distance, Kier and Monin. So we have, they're basically, the points are definitely going to be mattering, right? We're thinking about where we're going to end up after this one, and Monin is hoping to see a 10, get another win on the board there, get into the double digits, and Kier is sitting at 7 and hoping to see an 8, right? And at this point, it's really anybody's game.
It is absolutely anybody's game. I mean, even just in the last 30 seconds, seeing the gap close slightly, anything's possible right now. I mean, one little puff for either team, and all of a sudden they're surging ahead. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little panic setting in deep down inside.
Right, and you have a little bit, obviously, this match that's behind them, right? You can see the Stella Kite and the Club 100, and they are, you're trying to get 0 dirty air, right? You're at so light.
Stay
You're
clean.
thinking,
Yeah, stay clean, stay clear, stay fast. Try not to let them distract you, because they're going to a different destination than you are as well, too. So making sure you guys aren't in anybody else's way either.
So we've got a great aerial shot from the drone right now, and we're getting ready to see that they're setting up for where do they want to make their next maneuver, which will be a jibe back to the finish line. And yeah, that's absolutely right. You have to kind of watch out for the other races that are on the course as well, and you want to try and keep that air clean. Here goes the jibe.
okay, Monin just jibed. Kier is going right on his line. Okay.
Yeah, so this is pretty good right here. We're going to see if he can get over the top here. Eric's trying to take that Swiss team and see if he can get over the Danes there, and the Danes are trying to get out and come out of that. We like to call that coming out of the jibe hot. And now he's going to jibe back here and see if he can. Yeah, it's a fake jibe, it looks like.
Yeah, it's a game of getting
there
on
we
somebody's
go. There we
breeze,
go. Yeah,
keeping
it's pretty
clear.
good.
Went for like the double squash on the kite, right? So
Yeah.
you're looking at CZR right now, and
Still trying to
Where are
regain
their
his strength,
shoulders?
right? Yeah, that's really good. Really good.
okay, we've got jib up. We're thinking now, okay, fine. I've slowed him down. I've put pressure on him.
Yeah, we're back down on the water. We're switching between 2 views. It's really interesting. They're coming up on the gate side right here, and you can see the umpire boat sitting right back there behind him. And boy,
Kier
they're
is
looking really
freaking
slow.
out right now.
Yes, really
Look at
slow.
this. It's so hard. You're coming in super low, not what you wanted to do. In their mind saying, every Mark Rounding, we've owned it. And wow, we're coming in slow. Okay.
And this looks slow and even, though. Slow and even in the split on the gates. It looks like the Swiss are going to go out to the right and see if they can get some pressure out there. And it looks like the Danes are going out to the left. And we've got a group coming down the race course right behind them, so you can't tack early. So they're going to split and potentially be in a little bit different breeze.
Man, that was a really nice job by Monin, right? He just, how do I squash him? How do I make him slow? How do I, close the distance? And it was like
Very
tick,
well.
tick, tick,
Yeah,
right?
very well executed. I was biting my own nails for that one.
Right. And then, the added, salt in the wound is, there comes Canfield downwind, right? You exit the gate, okay, fine.
Yep. And here they come.
And Kiera was like, thank goodness, at least we got a kite to cover him. But
All right, looks like they're coming back. Let's see what happens.
Whew. It is anybody's game.
Yeah.
Again, right? We
That's
watched
tough,
the wood race the other earlier, right?
Yeah, there was
and huge distance, closed right up, grew again. So
right, every tack and split was something different. It was just like this, actually. Pretty much identical. Nice right shift came in, favored the right boat, and then they went out for more and lost it a little
didn't get
bit,
it,
and-
right?
Yeah,
This is our finish. We just watched, for those on the pier, obviously I'm sure you're cheering. Canfield held on to the lead for that race. Did pretty awesome. And here comes Durant. Come on, folks on the pier. Dustin had an awesome win against Yanni yesterday, and
cool.
I kind of I thought that like the pier was going to fall down, right, with everybody cheering and
That's awesome. That's
and loving
really
it.
cool.
So
Very cool.
it's great to see the local guys, doing well, and I'm sure Taylor is taking a deep breath. Right, they were always got a little antsy yesterday.
A little bit, yeah. Wow, a little bit of a gap there going on the upwind.
A little bit of a gap, yeah, for sure. We're back on our match. This is Monin and Kier. There we go. So we're looking.
Monin,
Wow, we're looking at
Yeah.
boat 5 is Monin right here.
yeah. It's got
Definitely putting the hammer down, right? Monin did a little squashing down at the bottom and
sailing strong.
Sailing
to
strong and away upwind.
Slam 'em and sorry guys, making it hurt just a little bit more.
I know. It's sort of the fun of match racing, but also your empathy card kind of comes out and goes, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's painful to watch it here. That was great on Monin's team. They obviously, they got that left gate and went out to the right and got a little pressure and came out strong on the cross. We didn't see it here, but we saw the result, and they're a few boat lengths ahead. And obviously the Danes there tried to put in attack and see if they can come up on the boat lay line, maybe with a little bit of starboard, and see if they can get a piece of Monin. But Monin's looking really strong, and that was all the action there right before the gate, and that was really good. And for those of you that are on the pier, I think that was Team Durant, our local team that just finished that race with Canfield. Make sure you give them a shout out as they kind of drive by the pier and so forth. That's some of our strong local sailors there on board with Dusty, and it's Mike Lowe on the bow, and it's I think Payson Infamous is the primary trimmer there, and I think we have both of the Dare brothers on board. So give them a shout out as they're down around the pier, and if you're not down on the pier, think about coming down and watching some of this great racing that's going on this afternoon. This gap has opened up a little bit. Obviously, the Swiss team is looking very strong. So, yeah, that's tough for Denmark, right? Because they're on the fence. They're trying to get in the semis, and they need points on the board today.
Right.
Every race is a little extra tense for them because they're on the fence. That fourth spot is particularly up for grabs. And Eric is, I think, sitting in the third spot right now, but very strong, right? All
Yeah,
the top
for
three
sure.
are in double digits if this race holds up.
Yeah, for Eric's team, which obviously it is looking stronger and stronger. But again, Kier, Emil and team, they have, you really never can count them out. They really have done, they're really good at making great decisions, and then keeping their boat moving.
Yeah.
With it so light, it's getting a little bit harder, but you gotta love the Long Beach shipping containers, huh?
Oh, yeah. For those of us around the area here, there's obviously a lot of product out there right now because there must be 50 ships waiting to get unloaded. It's really pretty busy looking out. But yeah, the Danes have been great. We see a lot of blonde hair on that boat, right? Yeah, and they've been great all summer. They've been sailing very strong. So hopefully they can put a few points up on the board. But this particular race looks like it may have gotten away from them a little bit here. It does look like we might have a little bit more pressure build. It's hard to tell from all the cameras we have here, so we'll see if we can get a report in from the pier. But it looks like we might be getting a little more pressure, and still looks pretty southwest. Maybe a little bit a little bit of west trying to come in. So it's definitely bouncing back and forth a little bit. And guys are really watching. Teams are really trying to figure out where's that next pressure and how to stay between the next pressure and their competitor. So these boats look like they're moving pretty good up there on the top, but I think, I think the Swiss team's still pretty strong on this race.
Yeah, and you can see the downwind guys. We got a couple. Well, we've got 3 kites that just kind of went through the screen for those that are at home. And I saw a blue penalty up as well over there. I saw an umpire with the blue flag up. So.
Yeah, I think there was Poole and Peterson that just went by us fairly close, right, on a downwind run. And again, that trailing boat can be pretty doggone strong, and particularly in this breeze, they have a strong case to potentially roll. So I think that maybe the match we were just getting a glance of there. This looks like we're back to Monin and the Swiss team going around the windward mark and dropping the jib and coming up with a kite and getting some pressure on that and working downwind.
Yeah, kind of the squash by Monin with the dirty air as he goes to set. And here we can now see Kier making his way around. It's still, it's anybody's game with how light it is. We just watched what they did, right?
I mean, yeah, I think everybody's. Uh-oh.
Just like makes your heart hurt.
Oh,
Come on, guys. You got this. You got this.
That's not a good one. That's not a good look there, guys. I think they were hoping for a clean set. Trying to get away.
Getting it out.
Clear this out in a second.
Yep.
There it goes.
Okay.
So that's a tough one to see when you're behind and kite doesn't go up exactly the way you want it to do. And yeah, that hurts me.
I know. Looks like we took a quick little pause, but so they're splitting. I think that Monin is similar to downwind, right? Let's get our speed up and we're fast and we're going the right direction, and doing a little check-in to make sure we don't go in totally different bodies of water, right?
Right. Yeah. There's it's one thing to split, but you got to be a little careful when you do it, for sure, especially on the downwind in these boats. Anything, keep the wheels moving when it's light. It looks like we got another match coming down at us.
Yeah. So for those on the pier, obviously you're watching this, the Long Beach Yacht Club kite with the junior sailing kite to windward. Woods to leeward here with the Long Beach Yacht Club kite. They're matching each other. So behind was Gilmore. And Kira's coming downwind, making themselves go as fast as possible.
Yeah, he looks like he's looking over his shoulder, kind of seeing where the gauge is, how far ahead, or did they lose? Did they gain? Where do they stand on this race course right now? What's coming next?
And for those that are following along without video, but maybe just kind of like watching the scores, we've got penalty trying to be burned. So we have Peterson is trying to burn a penalty with Poole. I just saw them drop their kites off to the left of the committee boat. It's kind of exciting. Downwind guys are
still moving.
Still making, Kira's looking for his opportunity. The Peterson and Poole deal where kites are down and they're sailing upwind. Looking to try and burn a penalty. I'm sure we'll get an update from those umpires by the end of the race. So there's a list of their team members here. For those that are at home, we've got Eric Monin obviously doing quite well, and an impressive squash on that first downwind to stay right into it. It's amazing the amount of teamwork needed, right? It's just there's no chance of trying to pull it off just as a rock star skipper, right?
No, it's a whole team experience. You got to fill it with the right people, the ones that make you feel good about the boat itself. It's not just one person on board. Mm-hmm. That's a very valuable thing.
For those that aren't aware, I am sitting with a skipper on both sides of me, and I have been a skipper and I've also been a crew a lot, so I'm pushing the button of these guys like, don't forget, which they don't, of course. The other cool part about Monin's team is we have a couple of family members.
Yeah, we do. I think he's got his brother and possibly his wife on board this time, I think. So, yeah, that's really good. And you and Allie are doing a great job of picking up some of the little subtleties, some of the really important things that make a big difference, particularly on light air. Every chance you get an opportunity to squish the other people with bad air, like what we saw coming into their leeward gate, that was just an excellent move from Eric. And it really hurt the Danish team, right? And then even don't let them off the hook. Don't let them breathe again. Around the windward mark, we saw the same thing where they were like, nope, we're going to put that bad air on those guys and make that a real slow tack set. And then they had a real hard time with the set. They had a twist and made it slow, and they didn't get up to speed for 4 or 5 boat lengths, whereas Monin was shot out there. And then he had the option to look what he wanted to do, and obviously he elected to jibe out because he was going to stay clean and stay away from them. And now he's just rumbling down to the finish line. And to some degree, the Danes are thinking about the next race.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta regroup for what's next.
Regroup and try and get some points on the board. Really important to them. You were also mentioning that was actually an exciting penalty kill that was going on around the race committee boat down there between Poole and Peterson, I think, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know how it came out down there.
I'm sure the folks on the pier were hearing some screaming and some excitement.
That was some really good action. Obviously, they were tight, but they had a penalty on them, so they had to try and scrub that penalty off. And one of the places you want to do that is over on the race committee boat and see if you can really get the trailing boat into a position where you can scrub that penalty.
Yes, for sure. And you're seeing, obviously, Monin just across the finish line here. It's take a deep breath. There's the high fives. You got to love it. You're like, nice job, guys. We came from behind, definitely moved on, crushed, and, double digits.
Double digits.
Double digits is huge. So
it's good separation there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is awesome. So double digits for 3 of our players now overall. Taylor, Yanni, and Eric, who we just watched. Mm-hmm. Nothing set in stone yet. We still have a lot of racing to do, but...
Yeah, do we know?
We haven't really heard yet about the penalty that we were burning. We are getting an update about a yellow penalty for Poole to not give mark room. Again, it's sort of the umpires are so involved and they've got so much going on. So we we get updates when they get a moment to get free, but all the sailors this week have been keeping them incredibly busy.
Yeah, maybe we should talk about that for a moment, because here in the studio we actually have one of the umpires, Stephen Myers, with us here, and he's talking with the umpires on the water so that we can get an interpretation of penalties that are going on and the impact of those. So thanks, Steve. We appreciate your input here in the studio.
It is. It's awesome. It's like a whole bunch of updates from left and right. The umpire team, it's great. So it's very much... Obviously, it's a World Tour event, so we have all majority international umpires. Flavio is our chief umpire, and for those that have been here on site, they've been able to see that, the sailors and myself included, we haven't given them any slack with. We have some pointed questions, and we make sure, like, okay, where are we going with this? And he's been great with it, but they definitely, right? You try and not involve the umpires, but inevitably.
The umpires, it's actually great to have the umpires on the water, right? We get the calls on the water, we know where we stand. We might not always agree with them, but then they're always really open to talking with us afterwards about what they saw, because obviously they're trying to get in a position where they get the best possible vision of what's going on.
Yes, for sure. So we're looking at a downwind race right here with Yanni's team leading, and actually we have on-water interview with the winners.
How was that for you? Some tight, close, back and forth there, huh?
Yeah, pretty strong start from us, and then Emil was able to put really the pressure on us in the upwind. We got a bit stuck in the bad air of the traffic of the other match in front of us. So yeah, well done from him. And I think the key point was just before the leeward mark, where he was a bit slow and not really knowing which mark to take, and we could attack from there on. So it was very good for us. This mark grounding. After that, we capitalized again a bit on the downwind speed, and that was it. But it was a two-pointer because Emil was very close to us so far. So it's good to have 1 point, but also to take one from him. So that's definitely a 2-point match for us.
Amazing, and looking forward to the rest of the weekend. Are there any goals you have in mind?
The goal is always the same: get to the next stage, try to qualify for the semis. So far, so good. We need still 1 or 2 points. So we'll give everything we have.
Amazing. Wishing you all the luck. Good luck to the whole team.
Thank you.
Oh.
Excellent. Thanks, Simone. It's always nice to be able to hear from the folks on the water. We're looking at the last match of this flight. We've got David Wood with the LBYC Burgee, and the junior sailing Burgee is Sam Gilmore. So you can see Wood.
Yeah, this is really good. We got to watch right here. We're going to have a jibe. We're probably going to have a simul jibe with them, and trailing boats can try and go over the top. And in this breeze, they're strong to be able to potentially roll. It kind of opened up a little bit of gap there. I think they really want to kind of come back down on the leeward boat there. And while we're seeing this action too, we should thank. These are some of our really special sponsors that you see highlighted on the spinnakers there. That's our Long Beach Junior program. That was I think Debbie LeBeer has actually helped us out with that. So it's great to see those kites flying and see them up there. So the windward boat here is the junior sailing, Long Beach Junior Sail, and they're trying to get over the top of the leeward boat here. So this is a pretty tight race, actually.
It is. It's kind of like what we saw on the Monin race, right? It's not over when you're even if you've got a little distance right here.
Yeah,
easier downwind for the trailer for sure.
Yeah, and that was a great move we saw by Eric Monin and the Swiss team. That it just put a lot of kind of a little double move that put a lot of bad air on the boat that was in front, and then they got to the favored gate and really opened up that race. So that's a big move. So we can also see the two umpire boats in here. I think most everybody's familiar with those. The ones that are calling the penalty are the ones that you see in the middle there, and they're trying to watch the potential action here because you can see the windward boat's going to try and jibe down and get lured below. And then you see another boat out on the side, and that's what they call the wing boat. And they're looking for whether or not there's an overlap between these two boats because that has a difference on who has rights and who may potentially get a penalty.
Okay, so a nice on the water kind of shot here. We get to see the players being nice and smooth with their boat handling. Woods crossing through, it looks like. Letting Gilmore go. It's sort of, you get these powerful rolls, right, out of the jibe, and it feels really nice.
Yeah, it definitely does. They have a little bit of a jibing battle going on here. Now you see Wood coming back, and you see you see Gilmore coming back at them, trying to keep the action close here as we go into the downwind leg.
Yeah, and so it's he's jibed to keep his air behind, and now what Gilmore's hoping to do is, okay, I'm doing another jibe. I'm trying to get on his breeze, right?
Right. Yeah, and actually Gilmore, I think he's got tactician on board is Joachim Aschenbrenner, who sailed with the Danes during the Ficker Cup this past weekend, and I think he's jumped over here to be with, I guess Gilmore is Australian but living in Europe, so he was able to get here because obviously all of those great sailors we have down in Australia and New Zealand, we miss you, and a lot of those have been unable to get up here into the U.S.
Stuck with lots of restrictions, but keeping us all healthy, right? So.
Right. Yeah. And this is really actually still pretty good here between the two boats. And they're pretty tight coming up on the
very tight
finish line here, and obviously protecting. They're looking to get back to the pin, but
so there is, for those on the pier that don't have the perspective, there's no way to swing out from behind here. We are pinned to windward for sure. And it's really just here looking at pin ley line, and there goes.
Here we go. Simul jibe on
Yep.
this. And lead boats, trying to stay out in front here and try and not have an overlap.
Wing boat rushing to see if there's an overlap.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is tight in here. Lead boat looked really
Trying to
strong on the
squash.
jibe there. Yep. And it looks like Wood and the team is going to pull that off. Wow, that was really good.
An
right there.
awesome, close race there, right? And it's like we said, we rounded with, oh, he's fine, he's got comfort.
I think we just like seeing these fantastic finishes by David Wood. And
I
the
think
development
so.
team.
It's pretty
It's 2 in a
impressive.
row for him. It's great.
The heart rate is up. The heart rate is up for sure.
It's fantastic. No, well executed though. Nice and easy. Well, relatively speaking.
Yeah, right. He made it look pretty easy, even though it's one of those you give up the gains
Right,
to
right.
gain control or to hold on to that control, and that was a really good. That was textbook, right? It was
Absolutely
very much
textbook.
what you study over and over on the paper, and then to be able to pull off on the water is awesome.
Yeah, very well executed with the right amount of time. Always good to see.
At a little recap of our scores, pretty close for the top group. We're still thinking about who's going to make the top 4. Monen's got double digits, and Yanni and Taylor obviously, so comfortable a little bit. But look at this, Peterson.
Feeling
Right.
pretty good if you're in the top 3 right now and you're in those double digits. But wow, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, actually, there's all still quite a bit at play. But yeah, Peterson and Amal at the Danish team, and Sam, the Australian team living in Europe. And wow, David Wood's in there, and even Max is still there sitting on 5. So these are all real important races to those guys.
Our first match, which again, it's Yanni Bernston and Eric Monen.
Right, and they're coming down this exclusion area, so that corner is really active, right? We've kind of named that corner Price Point. We miss you, Harry. You're not up here this year with us, but Harry had some real close contact with that, kind of took the light pole with him.
Literally took the light pole down. I love that.
Some great
story.
action. The video is still out there on that, and Harry was terrific about it. And then last year, actually, Chris Poole had some real close encounters when he was racing Scotty Dixon. He had some close encounters with a peer. So now we have Poole's Pylons. Yeah, the
nice.
exclusion zone there is Poole's Pylons, and so they just came up that, and now they're racing back to the line. Looks like they have a little bit of time to kill. We don't have a clock running in the studio here, but. Looks like Yanni's leading back there.
I mean, I love watching him sail this boat. He is just so comfortable with maneuvering it around. It doesn't matter. He's confident with what the momentum's going to do and when it's going to rebuild and get full speed. It's impressive to watch.
And there is a lot of momentum with these boats, right?
So
Big,
much.
heavy battleships.
Okay, one
sailing.
last little scoop here, it looks like. Let's see if he pulls it off.
Yeah, and Yanni is actually coming off of a victory in I think they had a Swedish match racing event just before coming here. So his teamwork, and so Yanni, it's not just Yanni, it's the teamwork and the trim keeping up with all those moves to keep the pressure in the sails so that you keep the speed. And it
Yeah,
looks like he
big,
got the split
big
start.
split.
Yeah, and it looks like Yanni wanted the left. He led back, wanted the left, and that looked like he got what he wanted there. And we'll see how this is gonna work out for him.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was action-packed. The heading off to the left. I mean, so far people have been gaining on both sides, right? It's been a pretty steady, a little 10 here, 10 back.
Yeah, and you can still see that we can't see Catalina clearly, so we've still got a little bit of those, like you said, 10, 15 degree shifts going back from southwest to trying to get to the west. And I think if the later we stay out here, we're going to see a little bit more strength coming in from the west and probably a little more pressure rolling down the course. But this would be interesting. That was really good. That split start we should probably talk about, as it was executed pretty good. If you're within the last 10 seconds, you want to take that tack to the right before it starts,
Yep.
so that they can get out there and they don't have to burn that after the start. So
That's
we'll see
true.
how they come back together here on that. That was a
And-
good classic split start.
Yep, and here is our entry. We are looking at Jeffrey Peterson coming in over the pin there, and Taylor Canfield just went over the boat.
Yeah,
Both boats have entered.
big race. This is another one of our Southern California teams here, Jeffrey Peterson, and of course Taylor, our 4-time champion, and Taylor's been here many, many times. And that's great. The starboard boat coming in forced the dial up, but it's a pretty tight dial up there.
It's actually pretty close,
Yeah,
right?
Taylor's got
really
his tight on him.
starboard advantage, but it looks like he's kind of
Yeah,
A little bit throwing that away when you get so close, and obviously he's advancing here as well.
Yep. Yeah, it looks like he's sailing out. Yep. So
Again, Peterson, right? He's just always in the game. He's right there.
yeah. So I think we have Peterson pretty stuck in the water right now, right? That's Taylor sailing away, I believe. You know,
Yes.
on starboard. Yes, he's probably going to come back at him here, and you can see both of the umpire boats maneuvering for position. The wing boat and the other boat trying to stay in the middle of the action. But here comes Taylor, and Jeffrey is just getting going. Peterson's just getting going, and it's going to go into another dial-up.
Yep. Again, it's the game of the momentum. Here he goes, and is it? It's a flyby, right? Okay, I'm pushing you. I'm
Yep.
going to swing around and do it again.
Yes, and he's definitely got Team Peterson going off the other way. On board with Taylor is just a bunch of great sailors, right? But
So check this out. Look at the umpire boat. Uh-oh. People coming at me.
both converging on that. Yeah, on board for Taylor is the main sheet trimmer is Victor, and Victor likes to call this the spider. The
Nice.
spider move when both of these boats are going that way. This is interesting right here. Okay, so it looks like Jeffrey may come out over the top, and then Camfield's
I
gonna see-
mean, come on. Can you imagine being on the pier right here,
Oh,
watching this?
that's
It's just
that
like,
was just
about to hit
great.
each other.
Great teamwork. Look at this. One below the race committee boat, one above the race committee boat. Yeah. On board these big boats, six to 7 man crews or man woman crews. That takes a lot of teamwork, and you really have to be in sync. All right, so now we're going off into our little playground here. Not sure how much time we have left on this
Not
start.
either, but also, as you go out to the playground, you're looking for, okay, how am I going to spin a circle, kill some time? But right now, no circles are being spun, right?
Yeah, there's
under pressure.
There's not much space, right? So he's going to see if he can use something over here as a pick and see if he can lose Canfield, and it worked out, right? The equipment boat's out there. Peterson used that as a pick. He'd get the little separation because
Yeah.
they were they were really tight on each other. So Peter,
Pretty awesome with the. Taylor loves to get down in that little corner down there, right by the pier, right? I think they've talked about it every morning in the skippers meeting. So I think Taylor's in a comfortable place here. He's happy to sort of be taking the lead, and Peterson's looking to spice it up with this up and down. You see this bow guy, right?
yeah, the bow guy waving his arm there. That's Tyler. He's out of Newport Beach area there. He's been sailing with us a long time. I've been fortunate enough to have him on the boat with me a few times. He's a great bow guy. But yeah, Taylor jibed in there while Peterson tacked and took the push position. And it looks like they're quite comfortable for that. And now they're turning up on the line there.
Again, we watched the last start, right? Yanni was happy. He led back and wanted the left, and it's looking pretty similar with this setup with Taylor.
Yeah, so right now they're trying to keep this tight lured, right? Taylor wants to stay up tight on Peterson, not give any breath here, so that they can either have that split start or they can peel him off after the start. Oh, look at this. We're right up on the boat. This is on the shutout line.
Not laying it.
Oh, Taylor's.
goodness.
Watch the umpires here. We could definitely see some action from the umpires on this one.
Holy moly. So Peterson probably above ley line. I don't know if he had enough to go in there, but went in there anyway.
That was-
Holy moly. We've got little bumper boats with sailboats and maybe that race committee boat as well.
Yeah, that was tight. And again, the race committee had an awesome view of that action. I think the guy on the barbecue might have dropped his hamburgers on there.
My goodness, yes, and there we go. We're seeing the penalty, right? So
Yep, so penalty Peterson. And we've got our umpire in the studio here, Steve Meyer, coordinating with, I think we have 2 umpires on the pier as well that watch the action in the pier. I think Karen and Craig are on the pier, Karen Butler and Craig Daniels on the pier, and they're watching to make sure nobody gets on that inside those exclusion area. Wow, this is some good action coming off of here too.
yep, for sure. It's being pushed over, he forced it in there and he spun around to probably restart because I'm sure he was probably early as well, but burned the penalty in the process, which is actually kind of convenient in a way. But still behind. Taylor's very strong out of all that maneuvering, and he's checking back in now, tacking up on top and heading out towards the right.
Yeah, I like my position if I'm Taylor right now. Right, you're pretty strong up there. You got out to the left there. Got in a little bit of pressure. He's got good separation. Had good boat speed. That was a pretty exciting start. Okay,
Amazing,
so
right? Yeah.
Peterson's going to come check in here, but I think it's looking pretty strong on Camfield's boat on Team Stars and Stripes.
Yeah, it's the decision of crossing over, or do we tack on him and push him to the right lay line, right?
Well, we're going to know in a moment here, and it kind of looks like they're switching sides with him, right? It looks like they think maybe the next pressure's out on the right. And Mike Buckley is the tactician on board there with Taylor, and he is great at being able to call where that next pressure is and trying to keep his team between this competitor and that next pressure. Peterson, of course, is hoping he's coming out here to the left and hoping that they can get some of that left pressure that we've seen earlier in the day today. I think they're still carrying the penalty, right? I see the blue flag.
Carrying a penalty. It came off of our graphic, but the umpires have corrected us.
Right. So the dip down was because they were over the line at the start, and they had to go down and start, and they had the one penalty, and obviously they can clear that at any place on the race course.
Yeah, the lay lines. It's funny, you do all your homework before the start, get all the lay lines. You think about what the glide will be if somebody's going to luff you, and you're certain of, I'm going to make it. I can shift to the right here. All is okay. And obviously, it was just a hair off for Peterson this time.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You're getting all that information, and what we saw is that line, if you draw the line right from the back of the race committee boat, that's the shutout line. And Taylor was very aware of where that was, and he obviously came up and got Peterson locked on that and really had him locked on the race committee boat. And this is a big split that they've taken here, so it'd be
it really is. It's a little bit of not roll the dice, but it's okay. Let's see what we can do.
I'm always listening to the tactician, but it makes me nervous when you get the big splits. As a helmsman, you kind of want to stay close to the competition, particularly when you've got a lead on it and so forth. But we'll see how they come back together. Obviously, Peterson wanted the split. He was trailing, so he wanted to see if he could get back into it.
For those at home or maybe on the pier, you can't tell the lateral distance, but Yanni is still leading downwind with Eric right behind him. It's about a 2.5 boat length distance between the two boats.
Yeah, and that could be a preview of what we're going to see in the semifinals, right?
Yes,
It looks like both of them will be through to the semis, and we'll probably see some more action from them. And, unlike Peterson has been sailing here in Southern California, Yanni just came in here from Sweden, right? So you can see them getting progressively better in the boats and progressively better in the Southern California conditions. So it'll be interesting to see how they do as we go into the weekend.
So coming back in from the left-hand side for Peterson. Do the big split. We're coming back together. We're going to see what...
We're going to check in.
Yeah, we're going to check in. Exactly.
We mentioned the race committee boat while we're waiting for this cross, and we should give a shout out to the race committee. It's just an amazing number of races. They're running, I think the first day they ran 35 races and 7 flights, and it's a phenomenal. By the end of the weekend there'll be close to 200 races or over 200 races. So big shout out to the whole race management team, all the team on the water that's helping them set up the race course. And obviously our PRO there, Randy Smith, and Wendy Corzine is assistant there. The whole team is doing a great job on the race management boat. And they sure have a great view.
Yeah, I know, right?
A great view of that last one.
That cross you guys all just saw, but Taylor crossed clear ahead, but was happy to keep going.
Yeah, I think Taylor's going to just look to extend on this, and this looks like it's going to be a little tough now because Peterson actually is got to take that close to that same lay line. So that's just sitting in that bad air that you and Allie were talking about. Any chance you get to put your opponent in bad air and just keep putting them further and further back.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, speaking of, perfect. Here we go. We can see them rounding the top mark here. We're tacking in to rounding green.
Yeah, and that's a good point. You often see that we've got 2 windward marks in the water, at least 2, and the race committee is anticipating where the next shift's going to be, and then they can change the course to keep it as fair as possible for the competitors. So yeah, we're going to the green windward mark on this one.
Peterson's just now getting there, so we're looking at about 2.5-ish, 3 boat length difference here. Again, that means nothing, right? In this racing, it's all pretty close still.
Yeah, and particularly if they can get a good clean set here, and it looks like it came up really good. It looks like Tyler Walk on the bow there and the teamwork in the cockpit. It looks like they popped that up there strong.
Yep.
So this will be interesting now. Taylor's going to pick his spots on, he's extending right now, and he's going to look for when he wants to take that jibe down to the downwind run. And obviously Peterson's going to be looking to see if there's an opportunity to get on his brace.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, here goes the jibe.
Yep, coming
So we got the
in,
jibe from Taylor, and we got the Simo jibe.
Simo.
Yeah, so we'll see how Peterson does on this. Now, obviously, we saw that other race where if you can't get over the top, you can be at risk of being really taken out and not have the chance to get to that leeward gate or to the finish line. So I think Taylor's pretty strong here. There's quite a bit of separation, but Peterson and team there will definitely keep fighting.
Yeah.
And Peterson's still carrying that penalty, so
Yeah,
he'd like to
still
get this
holding the
close enough
penalty.
to engage, right? Yes.
You can see the folks going upwind through them as well, so no real change in the lead or behind person with Yanni.
Yeah, Yanni looks strong in that race.
Yanni looks strong,
Yeah.
yep.
But we have actually 5 pairs, so there's as many as 5 races on the race course at one time.
Yes.
And I know you sail a lot with Nicole, and you like to really focus on that boat that you're sailing. But I've been up there with you in San Francisco, and oh man, the other race can really converge on you very quickly.
Very much so.
Focused on your
Get
competitor,
you
it can-
on by surprise.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, there's it's really important, tacticians looking around and getting good communications on the boat. All right, so we got him jibing back. He's going to check in, see how he's doing there, see if he got any extra breeze out there on the left-hand side, and see if he closes up this gap with Team Stars and Stripes in Camfield.
There was a pretty awesome event last night hosted by the Club 100 on the kites right there. It's again, you talk about all the people needed on the race committee to run an event. It's all the people for the entire event on land and everything. The Long Beach Yacht Club is just, I'm floored with the amount of effort that everybody puts in. It's like everybody gives 110%, and there's people everywhere to help and make it happen.
Yeah, that's a great shout out, Molly. While we're looking at this one, and there's a little bit of gap between Camfield and Peterson. Yeah, Club 100. Is a key part. It's limited to 100 people in there, and they actually collectively are the largest sponsor that we have. So they put in extra funds and resources to really help make this event happen. So big shout out to all of Club 100. A lot of them on the pier today, and if you see somebody with the Club 100 gear, give them a big thank you. But in addition to that, your point on the volunteers, over 300 volunteers to put on this event.
I love seeing the close-up shots like this. It's what those folks on the pier. So all you at home, this is awesome. We're getting to see up close the maneuver of actually trying to round this mark nice and smooth. Looks so calm and orchestrated.
Yeah, that's Bear and Mac in the middle, and I think they've got a new guy, Leo, in the middle. Leo was looking forward to being introduced to 2nd Street. But yeah, those close shots give you an idea of how synchronized and how important all of that action is going on, and it's really a lot of action that has to go on all in sync.
Right. Otherwise, you get an elbow to the face, or a sail doesn't go up that should, or a whole bunch of stuff could go awry if you're not all on the same page.
Yeah, and these tacks like the one we just saw, they just have to be precise. They have to be landed within a degree or two, and it varies all day. The pressure a little lighter. You have to really land it right, and that's just being in sync with the helmsman and the trimmers, and that's really, really important. The teamwork, I just can't say enough about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was fortunate. Actually, Jeffrey and his tactician actually came out and worked out with us a little bit before Ficker Cup on our fleet of Solings. So it was really nice to have them up here. It's definitely a really good crew on board with Jeffrey, and it's great to see him out here and battling for that 4th spot in the semifinals.
Yeah, for sure. These Catalinas have been around for a long time, and strangely enough, you wouldn't think it. When you're sailing them, they're heavy and they're sturdy and they are great for what we're doing, and you'd never guess that they've been sailed for decades, right?
We're super fortunate.
Yeah.
Frank Butler of Catalina Yachts passed away a little while ago, but we were super fortunate to be the recipient of 11 built right together identical boats. And then it really time to give a shout out to the Long Beach Sailing Foundation, who maintain these boats and really do a great job at keeping them equal. All the repairs and everything with Ben Wheatley and the guys, they do a terrific job. So remember, Peterson still has that penalty kill, so he's hoping to close up gap here so that he can get some engagement and see if he can really make something happen on this.
Do a little update on, for those that are sitting at their computers, the pool race, right? Kier and Pool, which is also, Emil's looking for good points here. Pool rounded our top mark first.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, and Pool's on the outside looking in right now at that 4th spot. He'd like to run off a few races.
Yeah, for sure.
Just get some points on the board.
Yep.
So we've got some pretty good close action shots here of the Peterson Canfield race, and you get to really take a look at that teamwork and the importance of moving weight around on the boat and moving it around together. You saw all of Canfield's guys just climbing up to the high side, all in sync, and that's just great. That gives just a little bit of pressure on the helm, and the helmsman can kind of work the boat up a little bit higher, get a little speed push out of that. So all those little details really makes a difference at this level of racing. It comes down to gaining those feet and inches every place you can.
Looks like coming in towards the finish is our first match as well. Yanni leading into the finish line. Eric Monin right behind. Again, those guys are feeling comfortable because they're at double digits already. But
they're still trying to put the points on the board, and they're still tuning up. Eric and his team also came in from Switzerland. Yeah, just came in. So both of those teams, you can see them getting stronger and stronger. Both having a pretty good day. So this was a test. They wanted to see where they stood against each other, and that was a good race. Yanni got the benefit of that. It's hard to miss Yanni and his team out there with those orange shirts. We can always see them. Yeah, even
coming into the finish.
Even right now, we get a little bit of that glare, on the water at this time of day, so it makes it a little suspicious on how to read the water. But boy, you can always find Yanni's team.
Yep, for sure, it is. That's true. And you could also see we're coming up to a start with our last match. We got Mesnil and Gilmore coming in right there.
Ooh, and that's an important one. Both of them are wrestling to stay in contention, right? They're trying to stay on that line to try and get to that semifinals. So yeah, that's good. Wow, what a beautiful day out here in Long Beach. The picture is just gorgeous. So if you get a chance, if you're not down on the pier, come down to the pier. Lots of close action right there. You get a chance to see the sailors, see the teamwork. We'll be out here all weekend.
Okay, Taylor coming into the top mark here. Taylor and team.
Yep, looking pretty strong there, right? He's probably coming in just outside of what we call that 2-boat circle there. So he tacked over, and now he's got a little chance to build speed and then go into this and hopefully get a nice clean set and pressure. And then we might look to see if he jibes out a little bit early, just to ensure that he doesn't have any interactions with Peterson.
Right, exactly. It's basically let's just avoid.
Yeah,
right?
And that was a great set. Wow, great teamwork there. It's Eric Champagne on the bow, just awesome bowman. A really good team. They're sailing with 7 this week. They've got they made the weight with 7 strong guys. Certainly Victor on main and Bear in the middle there trimming are very, very strong pound for pound.
Yep, definitely. It is nice to have the extra set of hands, right? When you can fit it into 7 people.
Yeah, it's totally good, and particularly when it's light. And when it's lighter air, to have that extra set of hands, a little extra kinetics that you can move around on the boat, it's totally good. In Vicar, I think it was a big difference. That's painful to see those twist in the kite. Yeah, it's going to pop out there. But you can see that it takes a few more extra boat lengths to get up to speed when you have that twist in the kite like that.
It looks like right behind him is another match. We've got Durant and Wood coming around the top up there as well. So they're going to have to battle with some kites in the way. Durant is actually leading that race against Wood. This is exciting. All the matches have something very important in play, right? On who's going to advance, who's going to make it up into that top 4 spot.
Yeah, so and if they're in the bottom of the rankings, they're thinking about they want to put some good races on the board, put some points on the board. Dusty and the guys really haven't had a chance to be out here sailing in a few years. Dusty was last in the Con Cup, I think, around 2015, 2012, 13. He was in there, but we haven't had much chance to get out on the 37s and do any match racing events. So I think they're getting better, but obviously it was a really tough first day for them.
Making their way down again. Peterson's, he's like, I've got this penalty hanging over my head. Just got to close distance and hope to engage, right? And
right.
Taylor's.
And if he doesn't get a chance, obviously, if he doesn't get close enough to engage, the penalty he gets dropped.
Right.
He's hoping for some big pressure coming down the race course to see if he can close this gap, but. Mike Buckley, the tactician on there with Stars and Stripes with Taylor, he's really looking around the race course, making sure they're in the best possible pressure heading toward the finish line.
Right.
So it's really good teamwork. Make sure you give Stars and Stripes and Taylor a good shout out when they pass down there at the pier. They're having a very good day as well.
They really are. Yep. It's pretty exciting. We got a lot of close, important matches actually happening.
Yes, there's a lot of close action out there and important points right now, right?
These guys jibing in, getting towards the finish.
Yeah, we can see from the view that we have, they're kind of approaching that leeward gate area, but obviously heading toward the finish, and still a pretty big gap in there. So, right now on board Peterson's boat, you just want to make sure you're sailing clean. If you can pick up any space, that's great, but, start, just clean maneuvers. Build on it, build on that, and take that into the next race.
It's funny, you see the close-up shot here where, he's leaning out and just pushing his hip on the sheet, on the guy, and just little game of inches, right? It's just the fine little adjustments to get every little inch forward.
All the little stuff. And Molly, you're a great crew. I know you've been helmsman as well, but, a great crew, and you notice all that little stuff. And we do when we're on helm, all those little things that keep the pressure, keep the flow going over the rudder, keeps the speed moving. Boat speed is so important, right? You got to have the great boat handling, the great teamwork, but then you got to have the great boat speed, and then the tactics come into play.
Yeah, and it's great to see. It's actually Buckley up there, right? He's the guy. Oh, I'll go up and I'll run out of here, and it's everybody plays a part in all of it, right?
Yeah, and they've really worked hard to choreograph all that, and it's pretty exciting when you're on the helm and you see all the choreography working smoothly. Yeah. It's really a great feeling. It's one that you try to get over and over, and you just kind of want that whole slow motion feel to it. That was another good race for them.
It was an exciting pre-start, right? Peterson played. Taylor gave up the starboard advantage in the dial-up, but didn't really lose a beat, right? Just kept him under pressure, and then that ley line call at the boat end, and obviously that penalty hurts. Being over also is quite painful. But again, Peterson is still, he is by no means out of the picture, right? He's right there.
He's right on it. And you're absolutely right. That was a big play, and it was all about time and distance on that play, because if you had like 20 seconds or more, Peterson could have tacked out and possibly jibed and come inside and been okay, and Taylor would have had to open up maybe a little bit of a gap there. But obviously, it must have been more like 10 seconds, and at that point, there's very few options left for Team Peterson, and they had to make the try. They get in there, and obviously, and clearly from the umpire's view and all of our view, that was a
no-go.
That was a no-go.
It was a no-go unless you wanted to walk away with the flag. Very cool. So Canfield is now going to be sitting with 13 wins. So again, a pretty comfortable spot to be sitting in going into the last couple races of today. And Peterson is still sitting with seven wins. So again, Guy behind him's got 5.5. There's still a little bit of gap. It's all on still. It's nobody's set.
Yeah, these are definitely important races to see who can make that cut into the semifinals. And I know Taylor and his team will be working on trying to just build that teamwork, just like Yanni and Eric, just kind of keep cleaning it up, keep building it up, try and get better and stronger every race.
We're looking at kites coming downwind here. I believe this is CZR on starboard.
Yeah, and CZR, another one of our great sponsors. We really appreciate their support, and they're probably enjoying seeing their spinnaker out front a little bit, I think, right? I mean, we have a tough angle to look at there, but it looks like CZR spinnaker is strong.
So that's actually Kier is racing Pool, and R2 got...
Yeah, we're on the aerial view right now from the drone, so it's we're trying to pick up that action and see if we can give you a little more explanation on it. Is that CZR out to the left then? And,
yes, and they're actually racing, yeah, exactly. So Long Beach Sailing Foundation. So Pool has been leading, and he's been leading around the entire race course, right? So this is our second lap.
And he's out to the right there, right? So he's actually strong. When we can get to perspective, we'll share it with you. Beautiful, beautiful aerial view overlooking Long Beach. Wow, that's really pretty.
Again, right? So this is a big one for points. So we've got Kier coming towards us over here with the CZR kite. Kier is sitting with seven wins, right? And Pool is sitting with 4.5.
Yeah, so Pool really wants to close the gap. So Pool's ahead right now, right?
Yes, that's a pretty comfortable place for Pool to be hanging out.
Yeah, and Pool and his team, I think, are just coming off a win at Thompson Cup back at Oak Cliff. So, you know, they had some action in the Swedish Match 40s, and then they flew out this way to get into the Catalina 37s.
Kier's trying to regroup for sure. I think we're also trying to work on a little bit of an interview. It looks like we've got Taylor lined up. So Simone is ready to go.
Hi guys, I'm here with the legend himself. How's it going?
Yeah, doing well. How are you?
Good. Talk us through that last race. You were kicking butt, taking names, and right at the start you caused a penalty on Peterson. Walk us through that.
Yeah, a close race with them in the beginning. You know, we timed our final approach really well to the start boat, and you know they just tried to squeeze in between us and the committee boat, and there's just no room for them. So, you know, the crew did a great job getting into a high mode and you know closing down that lane for them. So, really happy with the win.
That's incredible. And looking toward the rest of the weekend, how are you feeling in terms of matches and teamwork?
Yeah, everything's going well on board. We're just, you know, just trying to get better every race is the goal. So, you know, I think that, you know, we have a few tough matches to go, but at this point we may have made it through to the semifinals. So we're just going to keep working hard and make sure that we're refined going into that round.
Congratulations. And are you excited to do the Junior Con Cup later today?
It's my favorite part of the event, so hope to inspire a few kids.
Awesome. Good luck and keep doing so well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for checking in with Taylor again. I'm sure he's feeling pretty comfortable. We are looking here. We're coming into the finish. We've got the CZR kite. Kiera is just crossing the line again. We were kind of talking about that on our, you know, right before we went to the interview.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful aerial view from the drone, looking down at that and looking down at the pier and all of the boats there in the pre-start. And, wow, it's so pretty. What an awesome beach there right behind it.
I know, it is pretty nice. So Poole, you know, good job. He definitely dominated around that whole entire race course. Ahead both top marks and a very comfortable lead into the finish line. So the points are, everybody's getting kind of settled into where they are. But again, these 2 or 3 spots in the middle.
Yeah, and I think Poole's trying to keep putting some points up there and stay alive on it. Same with Mesnil. The French team is also trying to stay in there. But I think they just had a penalty on them in their race, so that might be getting tough to put that point up.
Yeah, the update from our awesome umpire team. It's the last match in this flight. Blue penalty for Mesnil. Failed to give room to the weather boat to keep clear. Okay, we're now, for those that are looking in the computer, the Stella Kite.
Yeah, another great sponsor, right?
Yeah.
Stellar Beer.
Durant, yeah. Durant is heading downwind with the LBYC Burgee with David Wood and team. And Durant has led for both marks.
Oh, that looks awesome.
Right?
They
This
look
is
like they
kinda
have
like
a strong lead. Yeah. So
Look at the pool game, and then now we're looking at Durant. And again, it's what makes match racing so awesome. You kind of go, oh, well, you kind of think how it might go, and you really never know.
No, and
You
it's
never
it's for the teams and it's just big highs and big lows,
So,
right?
totally.
And it's such a small mistake can make a difference. It's really great. Yeah, really great. And that's terrific to see Team Durant. Those are our local Southern California guys. Again, that's a shout out, Mike Lowe on the bow out there, the Dare brothers and Payson and Felice, and it's great to see them back out on the water. I did get a chance. Dusty came out with me, and we did some sparring and some practice before we were going into Ficker Cup, and then the whole race management team came out with us, and we had a practice day on the 37s with the race management team and some umpires on the water and all
How
that.
awesome is that?
It was really great.
Again, right? Everybody's got to practice.
Right,
What we do
absolutely.
is demanding on everyone, and that's great. Umpires were there, race committee.
Yep. Yeah,
That's fantastic.
I think it was a good warm up for everybody, and it just helps. But still, that being said, Dusty and our team, we haven't had a lot of time on the water, and it's just great to see the 37s back out here, and it was terrific to be able to put the event together this year, both Ficker and Con Cup. Big shout out to the chairs there. Chris Macy is our Con Cup chair. Lisa Meyer is the chair of Ficker Cup. Just getting these events to happen this year.
It is. It's great. You can see from this drone shot, we've got the downwind kites, and I can see this blue penalty heading its way upwind as well, following the pair that's racing upwind. Durant, I can only imagine what the pier sounds like right now.
Oh,
it's like, yeah.
Guys, got to give them a big shout out when they come across. This looks really strong. So, and they're having a nice race, good downwind leg, just extending here. So this is tough for the trailing boat, but obviously they're looking to see if they can close that gap. Just do everything clean. Build on what they can, take it into the next race. I think they're coming to the finish here, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, coming into the finish. So definitely this is, take a little breather, saying, okay,
That looks
this is
great.
good, guys.
Look at that drone view of that. That's like a snapshot. You want to keep that one. That's a nice lead. Obviously, really good race. I think he said he led at all 3 marks, right?
Yep.
That's really good. It's great to see the team doing well on that one. And of course, David Wood, he's just coming off a winning Youth Worlds. He's also from our Newport area there, Balboa Yacht Club also. So it's great to see 2 super strong youth teams, make it all the way into the Con Cup this year. And we get 2 of the teams, I think, from the Ficker Cup are battling out for that 4th spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kier and Peterson.
Yeah. So those both came out of Ficker Cup. We saw
Pretty
them
awesome.
uptight and close this
We
weekend.
did, yep.
Yeah, this past weekend. So yeah, they were racing really good. They were both really tuned up on the teamwork. All right, he's coming into the finish line here, and we want to hear it on the pier. This is really great to see the hometown Southern California team, bringing it home here.
So awesome.
Here they go. You'll see it on the race committee boat. As soon as it's official, they'll lift the color. I think he's flying blue on this race, right? Means he had a port entry at the start and just crossed the finish line. All right.
Yeah,
Great job.
so awesome.
Team Dusty and crew there. again,
Be
big,
pretty cool if his daughter was on the pier to cheer as well.
Oh,
right?
yes, he's a dad now.
Yep.
I'm sure April's there. Hopefully they're all out there. I know his parents are out there, giving him a good shout out on this one. But yeah, congrats to the whole team there, Payson, Mike, and the Dare brothers, and I think it's David Hawkert is also on board there too. So yeah, that's a great group of really strong local sailors. Yeah, all Southern California. I think Payson just came out for Star Worlds, and I think he's been a Star World champion. So it's really,
nice.
really strong sailing group there.
So awesome. High fives all around. Time to get some water. Wrap up the flag. On to the next race.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of good to talk about. What goes on. You finish that race. You have to, okay, what did we learn from that? And you got to regroup and move on to the next one. Absolutely. Grab some water and maybe grab a little bit of snack. And you were mentioning six people versus 7-person crew,
Yes.
and this time of year is a little different. We're usually running in March, April. March, April is pretty strong breeze. We'll come back to that. Did you have something here?
Yeah, so we're looking now. You can see this last match. We do have a penalty still. I believe we still have a penalty on Mesnil, and Gilmore has been leading both marks. So the Long Beach Junior Sailing kite, that is Gilmore. So comfortable, right? The trailer's got a penalty, and he's been ahead.
Gilmore's got to be feeling good. He's kind of, trying to keep that spot and trying to keep, posting some points and see if he can get that semifinal in there. Yeah, so there's
going into this race, right? Their scores were basically tied, right? We're at
Right.
5 and 5.5. So
Right.
Gilmore was sitting at 5.5, and Mesnil was 5. So this is
Right.
definitely a time where you're trying to flex your muscles and say, okay, it looks like we're tied, but
Yeah, and we've got the aerial view from the drone right now, and you can see that's really pretty, but really feeling good on Gilmore's boat at the moment.
Yeah.
That's pretty strong. So, yeah, and some of the viewers that are listening in and watching might be wondering about the 5.5. And actually, there was a point due to damage. You can lose points when you have contact, depending on the type of damage that occurs. So that's why he's sitting at a 5.5. So that was earlier. I think it was on Wednesday or.
Yeah, day one there was a lot of umpire action and a lot of action. You can see the two teams have a half point. So both Gilmore and Poole were involved in that, and the damage was somewhat to blame for both of them. So that's why you see a half on both.
Boy, and that could come into play in
Big
terms
time
of who
come into
makes the
play.
semifinals
Yeah,
here.
you
Because
never like the half point.
right, because the Danish team, Amira, is I think they're still sitting on 7, right?
Yep.
And this would bring Sam up to 6.5. So yeah, that half point. Oh, it's just so hard to miss any points.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this past weekend in Ficker, we missed the semis by 1 point, and we held all the tiebreakers. So, and you think about all the places where you could
Could
have
have
that
easily gotten
point.
that back, right?
Right. Yeah. So
Yep.
it's just that's the nature of match racing. It's just it's so close, so close. Yeah. So this one looks really strong here. They're obviously feeling good about this and hoping they can build on this for their next race and stay in contention for the semis. Oh, I wanted to go back to that 6 versus 7 people. I mean,
Yes.
we see Stars and Stripes and Team Canfield there sailing with 7, but they have some exceptionally strong small people on there. Bear and Victor and Eric. Those pound for pound, there's a lot of strength on those
lot
guys.
of muscle.
And when we typically sail the Con Cup and the Ficker Cup, it's in that March-April time period where we're doing 6 or 7 races a day like we are on this, but it's building breeze all day. So then race 6 and 7 is building breeze to the 15 to 20 knot breezes. So it really brings out the strength. You have to still have all that teamwork, and you have to have the strength and all of those positions in front of the wheel, all those positions in front of the helmet take a lot out of you on the day. Running 7 races or plus, it's a lot of work.
It really is, and you're right. The stamina needed it's big,
Yeah.
and to be able to keep your brain working.
Well, and
in
that's
addition,
yeah, absolutely. Everybody on board, right? Everybody on board has to see what's really coming next. keeping the brain working. That's where the helmsmen focus. Maybe they don't have all the physicality, but they have to be locked on all the time just to sail the boat really precisely.
Yeah.
But it's everybody, right? Because a lot of times, at this level, the communications have to be really precise. But it's really, all the trimmers, the teamwork follows the bow. Wherever the bow is going, then everything has to match.
Yes.
So it is a lot of mental and physical action on all of the team.
Yep, definitely. So we're seeing Mesnil cross the line here. Again, he was getting to the line. He was holding a penalty around the race course, and that just goes away as a courtesy. And so our points are definitely getting closer for sure. We really have we still have 4 people kind of not sure where they're going to land.
We do. Obviously, for Max Mesnil, the French team, that was a tough loss. They needed those points. We saw Max. I think Max came in early. I think he was sailing with Pauline in the Ficker Cup. He was doing tactics.
Yep.
Yeah. So he was on the boats trying to get a little bit, but they're on the fence now. They really need these next few races to stay in contention for that last spot in the semis.
Excellent. We are looking at the pre-start. We're last few seconds of the Pool Monin race. Excuse me. We're getting ourselves clued in with the timing here, and obviously you're hearing the beeping in the background. So coming into the start here, it looks like obviously boat 5 is heading off to the left with Eric Monin, and over at the right-hand side we've got Chris Poole. Here in the commentating room, you can also see there is a penalty and a red flag up. So somebody's going to be spinning immediately. And here we go. That would be Monin. Oh, my goodness. Never the way to start the race, right?
You hate to see that.
Really. We've got Allie is back joining us. Dave and Allie and I are watching that, and it's hurting to see it for sure.
It hurts to see, and it looks like Poole did a nice job kind of covering that one and going to make it hurt all the way to the top mark if you can.
Yes, and we will love. I can hear the radios going. I know the umpires are going to be, updating us quickly on what just happened there. The red making you spin immediately, right? And now looks like Poole's pretty comfortable.
Well, he's comfy for now. We'll see what the rest of this race course holds.
Exactly.
But yeah, I want to see a replay of how that penalty came to be.
Right, and here we go. We're entering for match 2. We've got David Wood just entered on the left in blue, and Emile Kier entering on the right in yellow. And the points are actually pretty close. We've got 7 wins for Kier, and Wood, we're looking at 5 wins. These both guys, again, it's, you've got 3 races left, and so every single race matters for sure.
Yeah, this point spread, my gosh, it's like you roll the dice, any of these teams could make it to the top.
Right, it's about 6 or 7 teams, right?
I think 6.
Yeah.
So that was some great action on entry that we just saw there, and we've got an aerial view right now, so you can see that they're a little toward the pin side of the start line, so that's favorable for the Dane team. They were able to keep the action over there. Obviously, they come in on starboard, so they're strong. And if you got a chance to see it, they obviously lined up Wood and made sure that Wood had to avoid and go into the dial-up. But then you got a chance to see the Danish team kind of do a little bit of wiggle and get some separation. And now I think they're both going backwards. They're both backing right now, which puts a lot of pressure on the starboard team. So a lot of pressure on the Danish team now. So it looks like they're both going back, and it's still fairly light conditions. So getting these boats accelerating after going backwards is a huge team effort. And for the helmsman, in the transition, there's very, very little flow over the rudder. You have very little feel until it's backing. And then when you're trying to come out of that, you have to really work together.
Yes, for sure. You were noticing the people up on the bow, they have different techniques of, are we going to squish up the jib and hold it all in? Are we going to stay down on the deck and use it as kind of mini sail? Again, it has not built a ton of breeze, right? We're not super windy. Our normal Long Beach, build and get nice and breezy.
Yeah, no, this is quite tame. It's quite tame for a nice day in the summer. I guess sort of the end of the summer, but no one's like we were talking about. If you get that boat going backwards, it's quite a lot to get it to go forward again. That's
So,
for sure.
Incoming. This is kind of the fun, like, spar, right?
Yeah,
Bam, bam,
here we
bam.
go.
Like, I'm coming at you. There's no question I'm on starboard. You better start running. And there he is, spinning out of the way and scooping up inside, keeping that starboard advantage.
Nice. Well maneuvered there. Nice space between the two boats. We'll take it.
And the umpire is doing the big dance around the outside and behind, being in position to see, but always, hopefully, out of the way for whatever random move the drivers are going to throw at them. So it's sort of like a repeat of where they just were, right?
Yeah. We'll just do it all over again. And let's see if they if the exit's equally as good or if they executed a little bit better. But it looks like definitely moving the team across the boat, getting the boat accelerating as you need it, when you need it, is really key here. Making sure you've got flow the whole time in some direction.
Oh, yeah. I love this trick. Okay,
Yes.
so we're a little early. We don't want to get there yet. We're dropping our jib, minimizing sails in the air. We don't have enough space to build speed with that pin so close, so instead I'll just drop my jib, get my boat rumbling. Now my jib's back up, ready to go. Still tight little runway to build speed there for that big beast, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a really good observation, Molly. That's absolutely right. When there's very little runway, that's advantage to the other team. In this case, the Danish team, that was advantage to them. So right now, Wood's trying to accelerate there, and obviously the Danes are going away there and going over the top of the race committee. But
Again, it's never over, right? We've seen it too many times, and it's sort of like a broken record, but it's so true. We have no penalties, so it's clean across the board. Wood is
super strong start for the Danish team.
very
there.
start for Emil. Yeah,
And they just had him forced over there on the pin, and there was just no room for David Wood and the team over there to be able to have any kind of acceleration. They had to get below the line and get going.
yeah, and both of those dial-ups, right?
Oh.
He kept. Emil just said, "Hey, I'm here to dominate. Watch out." And Wood kind of had his, so on his heels, trying to spin and keep himself within the playground and within that pin ley line, and he did, just not with not much room to build up enough speed.
Right, and they've both gone off to the right in here, but the Danish team, Emil's definitely got a strong lead on that one right now. So David's trying to sail fast, right? Sail fast, sail clean, see if he can close up this gap.
Yeah, for sure. And an update for those obviously on the pier, you guys are seeing this, and for those at home, the first match, remember we watched the red flag, had to spin a penalty right away. They were in around the top mark, and we've got Poole still in the lead, which is somewhat to be expected with for Monin having to spin a circle right away.
Yeah, that was tough. Obviously, the red flag means he has to take the penalty right away. It means he gained some sort of advantage over the illegal move that he did. So that was strong. Then Poole was able to get away and extend a little bit of space between them.
So there we can see he's tacking away. Okay, I've stayed in the same water with you, and we're connected even though we're behind. And it looks like Kier doesn't want him to go anywhere.
Yeah, might as well keep him in your shadow for a little bit longer. It'd be interesting to see if there's any difference in pressure across the race course, or if David Wood can get his team out of the being behind. It's a little tough right now. They're fast. They're moving quick. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely, and it's very much. The people are all up on the rail now, so it's one of those. The breeze is so up and down, and look light for a minute there, and okay, we've got people back up and trying to keep the boat rumbling, going for attack here on the left-hand side.
Yeah, so we get a check in here. Obviously, David would like to get this out of phase and see if he could get in something a little different pressure. But obviously, Emil wants to keep him close, keep him covered, right? Be on top of him. But yeah, you're right. It looks like up the race course, maybe they do have a little bit of breeze because the guys are getting up and the teams are getting up on the rail. So maybe I'm guessing maybe around 8 or so.
Yeah.
But it's hard to tell from our camera views. And this is a great aerial view here.
It really is another kind of split apart Okay, now I'm checking back in. And I would guess Emil will be there quickly, and here he comes, right? Making sure it's like, you're not going to fool me. I'm gonna make sure I stay in touch, right?
Right, and they're talking here about, do we want to go out to the left or do we want to hold the right here? So obviously they're looking at where they think the next pressure is and try and stay between Wood and the next pressure. So there's no dial down. There was the opportunity there for a potential big dial down and forcing Wood to go deep and go over there, but it's clear across, right? Clear across, and they seem happy to go out to the left and probably go out there around the ley line. So, yeah, this is tough position for David Wood and the team, but they're going to just see if they can sail fast and try and stay close, stay in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting a little different pressure. There's still some shifts going on out there, so maybe they can take advantage of something. Here we see them coming back together, so we're going to get another check-in here, and we'll see what Emil's, if he's going to cross over, or we can't quite see the
come on.
windward mark.
You gotta
too,
love
right?
sailboat racing, right? Look at this cross. It's much closer than
Yeah.
it was the last time.
Yeah, but he's gonna
Emil just goes and checks in, right? And it's
Put a little
definitely
bad air.
Wood's gaining a
put
bit.
a little bad air on him and force him to go back, right? So Emil seems to like what he saw out there on the left, and he's forcing David back over to the right. And we can't quite get the perspective on how close they're getting to the windward mark, but I got to think they're approaching it, right?
Definitely. We've just got him tacking out on the right-hand corner there. So I think Emil's going to make a long ley line call from the left-hand side.
Yep. And
The
I think
first match went to green.
right. I thought we saw green on the first match.
Yep.
So he's coming up on ley line. He'll probably take this to ley line, give himself a little bit of cushion so he comes in strong on port. And then we got that starboard boat, see if David's got a piece of him. If he's got
This
a
is
piece, then it's
awesome.
all action.
The last time they just
And
met.
this is pretty close. So this could be some interesting action.
For sure. So this is definitely, holy moly, Dave Wood has got a piece here, folks. Let's see how it goes. Just clear.
Oh boy.
Just clear, but we have definitely closed distance, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's within a half of a boat length at most. So we are close enough that, okay, we've got our clean kite set, going up, boom, jib down, game
Ready, set, go.
on.
Yeah, ready, set, go. This will be hopefully we'll see some tight action on this downwind.
Emil's got to be having a heart rate pretty high right now, right? We've he 2 times let him go and took the left, and obviously both times there lost a little bit with it. So
Yeah, it was I don't know how far ahead they were at the start, but that was a pretty big distance to close in maybe 3 tacks.
yeah,
Which is really good to see for the young guys.
so awesome.
Wait
And
for
here
it.
we go,
Here it is.
doing the big jibe. Okay, he's trying to head up and get up on his breeze.
There's the move. Let's see.
There's about 2 boat lengths between them laterally for those that can't get the perspective. Wow. Wood is easily could swing out, so he's not in danger of being pinned at all. He's just looking to get onto his breeze and
Slow him down a little
slow him down, reel him in.
bit. Yeah. Little by little.
Closing lateral distance for sure. We're less than 2 boat lengths between them. Emil is definitely trying to
Coming
head
in,
up a
yeah.
little bit, right?
Yeah, he's closing that gap on purpose, so it's good. We've seen this time and time again.
Okay, we're
Up and back.
majorly closing distance. Wood is about to swing behind
is.
here. There he goes.
Gonna let him breathe a little bit.
Oh, this is so exciting! I mean, look how quickly he's closing up this distance. Emil.
Yeah, that was great. That was important to pick where they wanted to jibe when they were coming around the windward mark, and now David's switched with them. But this would be really good at the gate. David's going to come in strong on starboard, and we're going to see. Right now they're taking a peek back up the race course to see which side's favored, which gate looks like it might be a little closer, and where they might get a little bit of gains on this
Yeah.
one.
The other thing, it looked like, you could see the matches come through, right, going upwind, and there's always a little bit of, you're trying to pick your opponent off on them and get them in the way, and I'm sure that was factored into where exactly was the timing to duck behind and send it back on port. And here we go, coming
Absolutely.
back together again.
That was definitely the conversation on board the pick, and so we're there. Oh, this looks
Oh,
great.
here we go, folks.
Look at this.
Styling up.
David's on
and
third.
going
Oh,
behind. Okay,
Yeah.
Emil's going behind and luffing, and Wood is going to be driving onto port. This is awesome.
Awesome.
This is
It was
so
really well
awesome.
done by David Wood and team.
Look at that.
Now Emil is trailing in here, so that was really well done. So watch the action around the mark here. We would expect them to split a little bit. Yeah,
So
that's great. Yeah.
distance bow to stern is about a half a boat length between the two. Emil's now heading back up, getting a little bit more space, trying to get back up on his breeze. But you see, we're probably about 7 boat lengths from the mark. So right now he's thinking, okay, how do I have a nice clean rounding and still put pressure on him?
Absolutely. This is going to be good. Looking at this, coming in tight. He is trying to get on his breeze. So if you're the trailing boat, you're trying to disrupt that forward boat. And right now, the lead boat is deciding which one, and they're gonna go to the right gate and go out to the right. And they're
That was
anxiously.
like a late decision. It looked like to go with Wood going the other way there.
It sure was, and it got the spinnaker a little damp there. I'm sure.
I wonder if they were doing it to kind of fool Kier. We're going this way. Oh, just kidding. We're going off to the right.
Oh, definitely. I think that was some of the conversation, right? It was to not let them know which gate they were going to keep that as late as possible. So if the next pressure is coming in off the right, that's going to be really strong for David and team.
Well,
they did a really good downwind run.
For sure, and that top of the beat, right? We saw the left really wasn't helping Emil in any of that. So I'm sure Wood, is factoring that into his decision making of, the right helped us last time.
Absolutely, brought him close on that upwind run, upwind leg, right? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Emil bounced him out there twice to the right, and he was able to close the gap.
Yeah, for sure. Wasn't exciting that whole downwind, like being able to spin behind and just clear his stern, and
It's great. I mean, look at this split now we have. It's only getting bigger.
I know. I would imagine the heart rates are
always-
pretty high on
it makes-
every single person on these boats.
I mean, this is one of my most nervous parts of match racing. I get out there, I'm like, oh my god, I know we're supposed to be doing this, but this is scary.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to send it, and I'm not
Yeah.
going to hit their stern. I just know.
Yeah, I know this is good, but yeah, this is
Okay,
They're
well,
digging in.
little fleet racing, right? They're going with they like the right. Okay, we've done it. We're going to go check back in. And these
Oh,
guys
boy.
are still going left. Emil is really liking the left.
yeah, interesting. I wonder what. I mean, we don't have a good view of it, unfortunately, but I wonder what's out there.
This is always nerve-wracking as well, right? The skippers are trying not to look over their
This
shoulders
is-
every second. And
Yeah, this is that moment where the rest of the team is just reassuring you that we're going fast.
Yeah, we got
and
this.
We're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Don't panic, and put your blinders on and make the boat go fast.
Right, the
Yeah,
blinders.
the blinders.
Yes.
Tilt your hat down a little bit and just hope for the best and keep the wheels moving.
My gosh, my heart rate is up. Just
Okay,
from
here's the-
listening and watching
here's the
the
tag.
downwind. Okay, incoming from the left.
Let's see.
Completed our tack. Yeah, get the boat rumbling. Kier and team have had awesome boat handling and awesome boat speed throughout the last week and a half. So it's a little bit of, I think they got to take a deep breath and go like, okay, we've done
Yeah.
this. We've had some losses today that I'm sure didn't feel good, but being able to bounce back from it.
Yeah, trusting that you can get out of a sticky situation if you're given the opportunity. I don't know. They're coming in fast.
They are. Holy moly. Come on. Come on, boat. There's a lot of that, I'm sure, as well. And they're these wood, the whole team is putting
they're working
everything
hard.
into it to keep that boat
It's a big moment.
So put everything into it. We need to have a piece. We keep the cross.
Yeah, this is a big moment. For the last week and a half or so at this time of day, there's been a little bit of a pressure line that develops out there on the left if you can get out to it. And it looks like the Danes got out to it. This is going to be a very close cross. So, but everybody working on hard, working hard, hiking out. Here it comes
Woohoo!
up. Look at that. That's pretty tight. Pretty tight.
And here comes the momentum factor,
Oh, look
right?
at this.
Kier going to go in for the overlap. Running
trying
up
to
to the
go
bow
in.
to check the overlap.
Yeah, he's trying to go in because if he can get him overlapped, you can bring him up, right?
Yep.
Doesn't
Right now
seem
it's
to
clear.
quite have
Clear
it.
astern. Clear astern.
Yeah, that was close.
Ooh.
That was close.
But we're right there.
Yeah, so David.
It is bow to stern.
Yeah, David tacked in front of him, kind of hoping to push him out, right? And Amir thought he was coming in with a lot of speed and thought he had a chance to maybe get in there and hook him and send him up. But David's going to be first to the windward mark, but oh boy, the Danes are going to be real close behind.
They
a lot of heat
are
on
getting
this
a
one.
little bit of the the pain of having to, you go for the scoop and you don't quite get it. So there's a little bit of distance growing between them bow to stern until they get to the mark.
Yeah, it's exciting if you can get it, but you got to go in with a lot of momentum, right? Because then you're going right through into their bad air, and they're starting to build speed, and David was just able to keep out in front.
Look at this. I love it. Look at the kite. How happy are you as the driver?
That was a good set. Yeah, driver helmsman likes to see that and likes to see that pressure. Yeah,
Okay,
here we
Emil.
go. Let's see. We need a good set here from the Danes, and it's popping up and filling, and there. All right, are they close
Okay.
enough? Now we got to watch for that
We've got
jibe,
about,
right?
2.5 boat lengths. So again, yeah, exactly. We're looking for when they're going to be jibing on each other, and
Right. So they're lead boat's going to be soaking down a little bit, and try and make it so that they maybe can get bow out on that jibe, and obviously the trailing boat there at Denmark, they're trying to get on the inside, right? They're not really getting on the breeze. They're watching for that jibe. They want to see if they get that jibe and get over the top and beat them down to that finish line. So obviously we don't want to go outside the ley line to the finish line. So they're also looking down the course to see which side of the finish line they really think is closer. Is it going to be that boat or is it going to be that pin end? So we're going to see it pretty soon here. So we've got some pretty good action coming up. They're just kind of watching each other right now and getting ready to go.
yes, definitely. We I know we're excited to see the drone footage. I know it's coming back. It's they're getting themselves into position, but here we are. We're going for the jibe right now, and the distance between the two boats is still similar, right? About
Still
2.5,
similar, yeah.
3 boat lengths.
Not much change there, which is interesting. I'm sure we'll see it now. Sure, we're going to try and. I don't know if we'll close the gap at all if they're on their breeze. We don't really have a good angle on that one.
They are definitely sailing a little bit lower angle, trying to get down onto wood a bit. It is a nail biter for sure. We're all like, who's going to get it here? We're closing distance for sure. He's definitely closing distance. You can see the kite getting disturbed.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man, that is
Don't
that
let
is
it happen.
a great feeling for a meal, right? You see that kite start to wobble and you say, oh, yeah, we've got him. We're reeling him in.
And there's the up.
Okay, swinging behind.
There's the jibe.
Okay,
Here comes
Jibe.
the attack.
trying to keep our air ahead if possible. It's going right over, so you can't outlove that guy. Oh, Dave. Okay, David Wood is taking a deep breath. His breeze is now behind him, so he's refilling his breeze behind Kier. And now Wood is quite in danger of Kier being able to jibe onto starboard, right? So he's crushed his breeze, got over the top of him, and Kier will be able to jibe. A lot easier than if it were reversed sides.
Right, you're seeing the soak start little by little here just to get a little bit further out and be able to make that jibe happen.
I love match racing. It's so awesome. It's just never, ever over.
No, not at all.
Okay, so we've still got distance left to right. They're flagging each other. They're trying to see, hey, can I jibe? You hold me up. We got a lot of green flags coming back, though. So no actual penalties happening. There's a fair amount of distance between the boats. So, well, fair amount in match racing terms.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so
boy.
exciting.
Oh
So
boy, oh
Kier's
boy.
trying to soak. Main is in the trimmer's hands. Jibs are going up. Yep.
All right, let's see how the boat handling goes.
I know. It is a boat handling game, and it's going to be sailing back
this is
upwind
great.
to
Here
the...
right here.
Here we go, sending it.
Yeah, we're going to see if David can roll back on the Danes here, and they're almost sailing almost upwind finish line, right? Because nowadays with the rules, there's no proper course, so you can sail off there for a long time. That looks really strong for David Wood and the guys. They were able to go right back over the top of them. So, yeah, we'll see how this finishes up here. They're obviously out there with some of the boats. Let's see if there's any real pick in there amongst the boats. I think they're just trying to hustle to the finish line. And the Danes are reflecting on that.
It's a little frustrating for Emil.
Close-up shot to them. That's a really tough one when that trailing boat is that close. Your only hope there is really if you can catch them and send them back up as well.
Right. So, going into that position, Emil, awesome. He rolled over, got his kite, rolled over the top of him. You have that starboard card as long as you can get onto starboard.
Yeah, it's
right?
getting onto starboard is the hard part. And then when you've got that problem that's going to happen in the bottom corner, it better be the best takedown you've ever had and the best acceleration out of it.
Right.
In hopes that you at least have a piece of that other boat. And it doesn't look like that.
And look at that Wood, man. He
Nicely
led
done.
the first downwind. Emil, awesome move.
Yeah.
Switching the lead. Basically tried to repay the favor on the next downwind. It didn't quite make it happen. That is an amazing race for Wood.
Well sailed. A little nerve-wracking.
So, totally nerve-wracking for both, but how exciting, right? And just lead changes, and it's kind of funny in a way that they both did the same move to each other, right? They crushed each other and rolled them, and
yeah, you see all these guys airing themselves out.
Oh yeah, look at that! Like take a deep breath. I'm sure
Take a deep breath, and
that is awesome. Okay, so thinking about what that means for points. So obviously, Kier came into that with a 7 points and staying with 7. Wood is going to move up to 6 points. So again, we have no idea who's going to make the top 4, right? It is anybody's game. So this next match that we just put on the screen is we're looking at boat 2, which is Peterson, I believe. We're looking at Peterson going upwind with Gilmore having just set his kite. Gilmore, junior sailing, excellent. Kite goes up. It looks like Peterson's got about another half a boat length before he tacks at the mark. So we're looking at about a maybe 5 boat length gap between the two.
yeah, but like we said, it's still anybody's game.
I know.
We watched this go away how many times before?
Exactly. My goodness.
It does look like it's a little fresh pressure out on the outside of the course. So these guys are moving a little faster. Boats are picking up some speed, and see an early jibe come out of Peterson's boat. This will be, maybe they see something out on the corner.
Yep, definitely. The kind of an update on the other matches because we were so engrossed in the Wood and Kier's happening. So Poole was able to keep control of that with the red penalty right against Monin and against in the beginning off the line. Canfield has rounded both windward marks in first. So leading again, Durant led on the first windward mark in the 4th match. So Durant and Mesnel, that's awesome. I love it. I hope his daughter's on the pier. And then obviously we're watching right here. We've got Gilmore leading in that last match with Peterson. So we got a lot of kites up.
Boy, that one that just finished was really exciting. That was really good going downwind when they're close enough to each other like that to engage. The Danish team just kind of had to slow it down, soak it down, and see if they could get a piece of David, and they just weren't able to do that, and David beat him to it and beat him to the finish line. That was a really strong race. This one here, Peterson, this is another one of our local Southern California teams, along with David Wood.
Yep, exactly. And I think actually we're lucky enough to Wood's caught his breath, and Simone's going to do a quick little interview.
He just won his last match after a tough comeback. Talk us through the mentality on that comeback.
Yeah, we had a pretty tough start. Emil did a great job of keeping us controlled in the pre-start, and we never really were able to get out of the dial-up. So he had us really good off the line, and he was 3 or 4 boat lengths ahead with speed going to the right, and we just tried to stay in it for that first upwind and see if we could reel him in a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a great job reeling him in, and looking forward to the rest of the flight starting tomorrow morning. Is there anything you're focusing on to finish it off?
Yeah, I think we have 2 more races left, and we're kind of starting to find our stride, maybe a little bit late, but ultimately finding it, and so we're just focused on the last 2 races of the round robin and see what happens, and hopefully, by the grace of God, we get into the semis.
Good luck, guys. Congratulations on the last win.
Thank you.
Okay, nice job, guys.
Excellent, and here we are. We're, I mean, Wood, I'm amazed that you're able to like put sentences together. I'm sure your heart rate is still going out off the tops of the charts. So we're looking downwind still. We've got Gilmore and Peterson here.
Yeah, important right now to have clean roundings and pick the right side, right? Gilmore's leading, and he's obviously thinks that right side is stronger pressure, so he took that left gate and had a good rounding, right? That came in good. So trailing boat here, Peterson's probably going to split, and he's going to go out on the other side of the race course and hopefully find some different pressure out there and see if he can bring it back closer, right? He wants to get this close enough to get some engagement. He's just a little out of range right now, right? He needs to close up a couple boat links, and he can make this really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. But like Allie was saying, we've seen it happen a bunch today.
Definitely, and like we've talked about, these splits are, boy, it's really tense. You want to stay, where you're in similar breeze, So right now, the chance to get a little different breeze on the race course, that's a big split coming around the gate there.
It looks like he's coming back.
Yeah, he's feeling the same, so
Yeah,
he's going to come check
exactly.
in. He's going to come bring this back in here and see what the distance is on the cross. And like Allie was saying earlier, on Peterson's boat, this is focus on boat speed. Focus on boat speed. Lock in. Get the best height, the best speed that you can get, and let's see if we can close up this gap at the cross.
Yeah, I think she was mentioning the blinders, right?
Right.
It might be literally the hat brim or something, but put the blinders on and just focus on your boat.
Yeah, and it looks a little bit lighter. There's maybe some pressure out there on the left side, but you can see the jib halyards look like they're down a little bit. They're just trying to get that pressure in there. Right now, tacking in semi-light breeze or medium breeze, you really want those to be clean. Look like a good tack on Peterson's boat, and we'll see how they come together here as Gilmore and the guys come up. I think Leonard Tachihini is also in Gilmore's boat there too, I think, right? He was able to make it in. I know he was hung up in the airport for a little bit, but yeah, Leonard's on board. These are both really loaded with good crew. I know Max is calling tactics there for Peterson, and they've sailed a lot together. And here we go, coming across here, and it looks like Gilmore wants to stay to the right, so he's kind of trying to kick them back a little bit, and Peterson to go back out to the left. We've got some waves too that look like they came in. I hate that one.
Just brutal. Oh my goodness, it's just the worst.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Gilmore's like, I see that, and I'll put you over there.
Yeah, so that was a little tougher on Peterson's guys with that wave angle. He forced him back over in there. So,
my goodness, some big ship just moved out in the outer harbor, right?
Yeah, that was some big waves. Not what you want to see when you're trying to pick up distance. So I think we had that looked like Dusty in action coming through the course there too. So I think he was leading at the windward mark. So we haven't had an update on them, but they look like
both top marks actually, right?
Yeah. So he was leading at both top marks. Maybe you can put another point up there on the board, and that's important.
Obviously not if we're watching and we are Max Mesnel fans for sure. That's a tough loss, and again the points are pretty close. My goodness, we're at 5 wins for Max. Durant, we're sitting with 3. It could get to 4. It's one of those you kind of think, oh, certain people are set, and here, nope, we are all on still.
Yeah, and there is no quarterfinals, so this is really important how you end up in the round robin, and of course there's a big prize if you end up in the last place. There's this really important book that gets passed along from to the last place finishers each year, and nobody really wants it, but it's a pretty esteemed group of people that have had it.
I bet it is.
So yeah, it's. So we'll see how that ends up. But right now, everybody's trying to put points on the board and see if they can kind of move up on it a bit. So I think we got another cross coming up here, right? I think this is
It
Peterson
is,
out here on the
and
port.
again, those waves, that was a pretty painful tack in the middle of that, disturbed water.
On board, that's really painful.
Oh, yeah.
And those were pretty good sized waves.
You
So
never want to be on a bucking bronco
Yeah.
while you are out sailing, unless the other guy is too.
and the other guy's wave angle was a lot
A lot better, yeah.
Yeah, so, and we can see the difference. That made a definite difference here. And I think they're going to green, right? They're going to green on the windward mark there.
Yep.
So obviously now, Gilmore and the guys are just going to try and hurt Peterson and try and extend this lead going in. And Peterson's trying to stay above that. So he's trying to stay a little bit higher, sail a little bit above that, and then see if he can close that gap. And it's possible. We've seen it a lot today on that downwind run. So this is all about having a good, clean set, getting the pressure in that kite, and getting going. And then we'll see if Gilmore chooses to jibe early and really not have that engagement, or if he extends there and wants to get down closer to the ley line to the finish. So here comes Peterson, and we got the kite up on Gilmore. It looked like a pretty good set. So they're
awesome.
out and away, and they're heading back down toward that finish line. Peterson, we got him rounding the windward mark, and hopefully we have a good clean set here. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully we get the kite come up and fill, and yes, we do.
And he also went for an early jibe, and there you go. So he's following right behind.
Right. And
There's
so
definitely a little shift happening here.
yeah, both jibed out to get a little bit of that, and they hopefully are seeing some pressure out that way. Obviously, Peterson at this point would like to see if he can get on that breeze of Gilmore and disrupt that kite, see if he can close this gap and make this interesting. Looks like he's gonna jibe down, see if he can change positions, get underneath here, and we'll see. Gilmore looks like he's happy to extend on a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like it. In that last shot, I don't know if anybody noticed, but you could see the huge container ship moving. So I am sure Peterson is looking back and giving the stink eye to that big ship that went by.
And that would be a big wind block. Yeah.
And some nasty wake off of that.
Yeah. So, it looks, Gilmore. This is he's out there a bit, and this is not quite close enough. But Peterson's going to see if he can
But maybe it
force
is.
some more moves and
I
bring
would
it back
not say
in.
it's
Right.
not too
Look at this.
close.
Look at this right here.
It's definitely gotten lighter. For sure.
I'm sure as they approach the finish line, it's lighter breeze down in there. So we might see these two converge again, and I'm sure Peterson's going to keep forcing the action and see if we can bring him in.
Definitely, we are. I am sure everybody on Peterson's boat is convinced that they are definitely closing in on distance, and we are for sure closer here. And here's the decision making: do we cross through, or do we go with them?
Go for it.
Okay,
There it
Peterson's
is.
going to go on him there. Hoping
Let's
to
see if
get.
they close the gap at all.
Right.
Looks like they did from here, but
And again, that telltale for those on land, you're looking for that kite to wobble in front. That kite wobbles at all, then you know that
Yeah.
Peterson's making an impact on him.
looks like maybe he closed a little bit of the gap.
Definitely
This is
close.
good.
It's about
Yeah.
a boat length and a half, bow to stern. And
Sailing fast.
I
trying to get up
love
on the
this
breeze.
sport. I mean, come on, how awesome is match racing? And
Here goes another one.
There we
so-
go. We're going for a little jibe. Gilmore is saying, I think I want to keep going. I'm going to keep starboard.
It looked like there was a little pressure coming, and now they're going back. That one looked like they were on a header and jibed out and had the wrong angle.
So here
Now
we
we're
go.
right back into
Yeah,
it.
so jibing right back, trying to, again, affect that kite, close the distance. There's a little wobble a bit, maybe, and a little bit of dirty air.
There's hope.
There's hope. There is always hope. Never give up hope, people. Peterson, you're going for another jibe here. He is, never giving up. And this is kind of where, as the leader, you're thinking, okay, I want to keep my air clear. What's the longer jibe? Where's that ley line to the boat end or the pin end, wherever you're going? Will I be able to finish?
Right. Yeah, try not to get stuck into the, what's happening behind you necessarily,
Right.
but just remember it's where your fleet race tactics when you need them.
Exactly. We don't want to be reactionary, right?
Right.
If you're leading, you need to be doing things with a purpose and a plan.
Always.
And he says, look at that, finish line's right ahead of me, and that is where I'm heading. Hey man, that was a pretty exciting
that was pretty
downwind
good, yeah.
Peterson still, right? We were talking about, the container ship, and nope,
But look at this
still
finish,
so
I mean-
close. Here we are, coming in close.
Gap keeps getting closer, so.
And the color that goes up.
It was well sailed, that's for sure.
It
Very
definitely
well
was.
sailed. Closing that big gap that we saw after that first windward mark. It's really nice to see them come in maybe a couple boat lengths back. So not
Yeah.
bad.
Such an exciting deal, right? You send it to opposite sides. You totally are comfortable, and I'm just going to tack to cover, and then lo and behold, here we are. Oh, it's within half a boat length.
You're just never out of it. You just say all the teams, they're just talking on board about it. Keep fighting, keep executing, close the gap, and see what happens on that. That was a great day of racing. There was a lot of close engagements, and we still have a lot of action in the middle here for that last spot in the semifinals. So definitely teams are talking about it on the way in, seeing what else they can build on as they get ready for tomorrow as well.
Right.
But, wow, big thanks to the race committee boat out there, PRO Randy Smith. By the way, Randy Smith is an awesome sailor as well and a match racer, good overall racer himself, and has a great understanding of setting up the race course for these guys. So
I know.
Team
He really-
on the Water is doing really good.
They really are doing an amazing job, and today's conditions did not look easy compared to the last 2 days, and he even Randy mentioned it at the competitors meeting this morning, that, we've really been so lucky. It's been really nice and early and like on time. It's like, we planned it for the TV show. And today it took a little bit longer for the clouds to burn off, and that delays everything, right? And so we were a little bit lighter across the board kind of the whole day.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see some more of that this weekend. So we're just going to have to see how that shapes out. It's definitely not like running the race in the March-April timeframe. There's definitely some differences. I mean, we were all in Ficker Cup this past weekend when at one point, it shifted massively and we were sailing toward the beaches, right? And it was
sailing off the breeze off the sand.
And very light and very one-sided, right, in terms of the race course. So, yeah, stay tuned. It could be a really interesting weekend.
For sure. It was quite an exciting day. We got four flights in, and we still have 2 more to complete the round robin. So tonight, all is on. Everybody's going to go home with with a lot of homework in their heads and ability to hopefully calm down and bring themselves back for tomorrow. Big thank you, guys. That was awesome. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for
Allie
having
and
us.
Dave. It was super awesome. And hopefully we'll be seeing you tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Molly, and to all the crew here in the studio. It was a great day. We've got some good support. We also got Mary Cheers down here keeping us up on the score, and we've got a great team with Jeffrey and all of his crew that are back in another room with all kinds of TV angles and drone footage and everything, and switching us into these various different visuals. So, yeah, great job, everybody.
It is so awesome, and we have, even in addition, the graphics that go up, right? There's so many people that are behind the scenes, and we're putting up the results soon, and the umpires come in, giving the calls, making sure we're kept up to speed. We talked at the opening of today about how all of the volunteers at Long Beach Yacht Club make it happen, but it's also it's just everybody, and it's just the community of sailors that say, hey, look, like you guys, right? You're here, you're local, and you're like, I want to come down and help. Awesome, great, right? It's just such an awesome setup, and then all these guys are rushing in tonight because we've got that next event, right? The very important Junior Con Cup.
Yeah, and the juniors here are really looking forward to that. I should say the juniors and their families, are really looking forward to that. So that'll be fun and exciting. But boy, if you've got any time this weekend, I really encourage you to go down to Belmont Pier, Veterans Pier, down there by BBC, the Belmont Brewery, and take in some of the action. It's a great arena to see some the top sailboat match racers in the world.
Yeah.
So just come down, take a look, see the close action. And hopefully we can give you some information to help interpret what's going on the race course.
Definitely, and as we said, our team behind the scenes is putting the results up. So you can see on the screen that we're looking at 3 teams that are trip double digits, good to go. You know, barring something crazy. But we have Sam, you know, at Gilmore, Peterson, Kier, Poole, Wood. My goodness, we are very, very close. 7.5 points for Gilmore. Down we've got Dave Wood is at 6 points. Like literally everybody's almost tied. We've got, my goodness.
We got 5 teams within a point and a half of that last slot on the semifinals. Sam Gilmore's sitting there right now, but there's 4 more teams that are within a point and a half with 2 races to go.
Yeah, so we, 2 races, do the math. Wood still is alive, very much so, and my goodness is right. It is all on for tomorrow for that one final spot.
It'll be very intense very quickly tomorrow. So, yeah, I think the racing's scheduled to start at 11:30, I think, tomorrow down at the pier. And I know the race management team will be trying to get that off and finish this up and start getting into the semifinals.
And then moving into the semis, exactly. It'll definitely be an exciting day. I can't wait for those 2 flights. It's going to be action-packed, I would imagine.
Yeah. I bet it's all or nothing. I mean, it's all or nothing. And the fact that it's a point and a half that separates everything is unbelievable.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining me today. That was a ton of fun, guys. And we will see you all tomorrow.